a leader? That's the most relevant question today. Now that the man retire, people spitting fire, and every talking head having their say. For in this mix up land that we call Tobago, many times it does just
the joy and the strength of my life. He moves all pain, misery and strife. He promised to keep me and never to leave me. He's never ever come short of his word. I've got to fast and pray, stay in the narrow way, and keep my life clean every day, because I wanna go with him when he comes back. I've come too far and I'll never turn. Ooh, God is
recall more than 3 decades ago, a senior telecommunications manager, let's call him Michael. And Michael was assigned to the task of presenting the government's position at a regional conference. Michael struggled and visibly trembled, especially since he presented after the retired North American ambassador, who had the audience in stitches, laughing up every word. I'm Dr. Madonna Dodd, and I made a silent vow then to help people like Michael, who are technically competent, but who struggle and succumb to fear when speaking in public. Now, as a communications architect, I partner with organizations and individual leaders to transform their leadership presence, including the way they express themselves. So, if your goal is to amplify your authentic voice, influence others, and lead with confidence, join me from October 28th to November 11th for our Communicate with Confidence online course. To all the Michaels, it's possible to overcome fear, step fully into your role, and lead with confidence.
During our 3 weeks course, I gained a lot of knowledge and insight on how to communicate with confidence using the different techniques and skills taught. Another thing that resonated for me is the fact that the same way singers prepare their voice, increase their lung capacity by eating healthy, doing the necessary breathing exercises, is the same way someone who is going to present should also prepare their voice. For persons who are interested in participating in this course, I say go for it, because you too will be able to find your coping skills, or how the runners and they psych up themselves when they're on the start line before they start to be focused to finish that race. You would be able to find your coping mechanism.
Trinidad. It's back for 2 nights only. The explosive hit comedy stage play by Alan Charles. Why Didn't I Get Married? It's not good for a man to be alone. But what about the black woman? Is the church guilty of keeping women single? Or is there really a man shortage? Come laugh, cry, and think at a show that's more than a play. It's a conversation, not for the easily offended. Saturday, 1st November, 7 p.m. at USC Auditorium, Maracas, St. Joseph. Sunday, 9th November, 6 p.m. at Sapa, San Fernando. Tickets for the USC campus, $200 in advance, $225 at the door. Tickets for Sapa, $225 in advance and $250 at the door. Get them at USC campus, A&A Pharmacy Board of Spain, Maranatha Bookshop, San Fernando, Living Legacy Pharmacy Arima, or online at theticketsellers.co.uk. Why Didn't I Get Married? Don't miss the comedy that everyone will be talking about. Brought to you by the University of the Southern Caribbean and Focus Arts Promotions.
Brown Eyes Promotion presents We Outside Tobago Carnival 3, October 24th to 27th, an all-inclusive package, inclusive of breakfast, lunch, and accommodations. Smith Drive, Lowlands, Tobago, opposite Gulf City Mall. Limited spots. Book yours now. Call 713-4029. Accommodation options: 1 bedroom with a kitchenette, 2 beds, up to 4 people, or 2 bedrooms self-contained, 6 people max, queen size, plus single beds. Check-in time 2:30 p.m. Check out 11 a.m. Limited spots available. Prices with breakfast and lunch: $2,000 per person. Breakfast only $1,700 per person. Half payment due by July 31st. Pay off by September 30th. Non-refundable. Payment plans available. For more info and to book your spots, call 713-4029. We Outside Tobago Carnival 3 from October 24th to 27th. All courtesy Brown Eyes Promotion. We do not own the copyrights for the song playing in the background.
You give your hand to me and let me say hello, and I can hardly speak. My heart is beating so, and I know one can tell. You think you know me well, well you don't know me.
Hey guys, I am Nigel O'Connor, a singer for all seasons. I am that voice that moves you for every occasion. I am that voice that celebrates life moments one note at a time. I am Nigel O'Connor. You can contact me at 783-0054 or 754-3154. And oh yes, that's me singing in the background.
Nowadays I'm not speaking songs. You give your hand to me and let me say hello. And I've been walking speed. My heart is beating so, and anyone can tell. You think you know me well, well you don't know me.
Hey guys, I am Nigel O'Connor, a singer for all seasons. I am that voice that moves you for every occasion. I am that voice that celebrates life moments one note at a time. I am Nigel O'Connor. You can contact me at 783-0054 or 754-3154. And oh yes, that's me singing in the background.
Nowadays I'm not speaking songs.
One thing in life that you must avoid, guaranteed to drive you paranoid. Negative people, oh gosh.
All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension, the world. How you guys going? So much to talk about, and I know this evening is Wednesday evening, so Papa on the inside. All right. So we're gonna get him in and chat with you guys about what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? So let me get him on the inside because I know he have a lot to say, a whole lot to say. So I'm going to try to get him on the inside and make sure that he is on the inside. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Right, Dad. How are you doing? You hear me?
Hello?
You hear me, Dad?
Well, again, this unstable connection.
Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello?
You hearing me now? Yeah.
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Yes, Dad. You hearing me now? All right, let me see if I can call him back. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's happening there. Let me try him back again. All right, so we're going again. Let's try and see if we get you to Dad. One more time. Let's work this. So, to those of you who are on the live,
Hello, good evening.
All right, Dad, you hear me now?
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, Dad, you hearing me? What is this? All of a sudden, now we're not hearing him. He's not hearing us. That's not normal. Let me see something here. Yeah, hello. Hello, Dad, you hearing me? Hello? Hello? All right, so I'm checking to make sure what's going on, Dad. So let's see this again. Right, you hear me now? Hello? What's going on? Hello, you hearing me? I don't know what's going on in Trinidad and Tobago. Hello? Oh, let me try him again. I don't know what's going on there, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm trying. Normally, I will get through to him. I don't know what's going on this evening. This evening, we having a bad connection. That's not normal. All right, so we're going to try and see. I'm going to try something else and see. Okay? So let's see how this go. Let's see how this go. All right, so let's try this and see. Let's try it and see. I don't understand that. Try him and see again. All right. Let's try it again and see. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
You hearing me? You hearing me? Okay. Something is wrong. Something is definitely wrong. That will happen. We're going again. We're going again, Trinidad and Tobago. I don't understand this. Hello, good evening, Dad. You hearing me?
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, I'm hearing you.
You hear me now?
Yes, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
All right, okay.
All right, okay. So I don't know what happened there. But normally we hear you loud and clear. So we're hearing you loud and clear this evening. So what's going on?
Okay. What is that?
What's happening with you?
I'm good. All good.
The people missing you, you know. The people miss you.
Yeah, but I missed them too. But I had a trial last week, so I was very busy. You know, these trials they run every day, sometimes for a week, sometimes for 2 weeks, sometimes for one day for the entire day. And the preparation for trial is like very intense, days before preparation for examination of witnesses, cross examination, re examination, preparing trial bundles for the judges for the other side. It's a very, very intense and tiring process, but we finally finished with that particular case.
Okay,
And,
I hope you won the case. All of that, I hope you won the
well,
case.
you see, people talk about winning and losing cases. Sometimes it's not about winning or losing; it's about technicalities. There may be a lacuna, loophole in the law. For instance, I was looking at that case recently with where they said that the action of the PNM regime under COVID was unconstitutional in refusing re-entry to two nationals of Trinidad and Tobago. And I wrote a short piece on it where I opined that it's easy for us now retrospectively to look back and say that the actions of the former regime was it denied those two people, the two claimants, their constitutional rights of re-entry to Trinidad and Tobago, which is their homeland. But at the time, we knew so little about COVID. It was a novel virus. A lot of people didn't know too much about it. We didn't know too much about it. Our CMO, everybody was kind of in the dark. So we were taking drastic measures of precautions. And I remember Dr. Rowley being commended very highly by the international community for how he handled it. But I think what irked a few people was that I think in one instance, I don't know if it was the daughter or some member of the Prime Minister's family was allowed re-entry, and whereas others were being refused, if I recall, and some people were upset about that. But I think we ducked a bullet in refusing re-entry to a lot of people. Now they sue the government and they won, and Mr. Logan is there saying, yes, when they should hang their heads in shame. I don't share that view at all. These cases are very easy to win, there had to be no big shot lawyer to win those cases. People's constitutional rights were breached right through during COVID. The freedom of movement, because the Section 4 of the Constitution, the freedom to move around the country, that right was curtailed, but they have Section 4 and 5, and then they have Section 13, which gives the government, right? The Constitution gives the government the right to breach certain rights if it's in the interest of the country and all of that. So that is an easy case to win, You had to be the smartest lawyer in town to win that case, but it's not always about winning or losing.
Okay.
So how have you been doing?
I'm good, man. I've been doing pretty all right.
Looking with your very intelligent son.
Yeah. He's doing very, very good. I went to his school this week, and the teachers are saying that he is doing very, very well. Very, very, very good. Somebody on the live I want to read the statement that the person on the live said, because I know you could answer them now. So the person is saying, Pastor Google, but how PNM never took. I want to make sure, let me go up a little bit. But Pastor Google, but how the PNM never took your father to represent the government on big cases for him to make big money?
That's the question?
That's the question.
Well, the way politics goes, right? So I'm not a member of the PNM.
Right.
That's the first thing, that's the first bad thing for me if I'm looking for state briefs and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be a member of the party. All right. When you look at the UNC with the Anand Ramlogan and his name, Ramdeen and these fellas, they are party members, as far as I understand. But I'm not a member of the PNM party. I don't have a party card. Right. So if you want to get on board with the party, like to get state briefs and stuff. You want to have your party card, be a member of the party, be a functional member of the party. You want to have a history in politics and law in the country, like to be a senator or to be a former MP or that type of thing. You want to have passed through some of the state bodies, like you want to have been working in the DPP's office. You want to have that type of experience. That type of thing. So they kind of okora with how people state operate and public law and all of that. At my master's degree in public law from UE, which is good, but I never loved politics to the extent to join the party and to be up at party officials and to be there just read in every meeting and stuff. I had several offers made by my senior in chamber, Senator the Honorable Fitzgerald. I need to join the party, Mackenzie, join. We need guys like you and stuff. And I turned up down. I was offered to be the member of parliament for W. O'Meara, where I've resided for the past 20 years, and I turned it down because I want to be independent in my thinking. I want to be free to criticize the party when I think it has gone astray, but I support the PNM. That is my party, but I never wanted to be a member. I wanted to have that freedom and independence of thought. So a fella like me won't get state briefs because if the PNM do nonsense, I'll tell them.
So seeing that we on that topic, and before we get into our substantial discourse, what is your? We have never really sat, Dad, and talk about what are your thoughts about the general election that went a while ago? Mm-hmm. What is your thoughts on it? How would you evaluate it? You had over 100 and something thousand persons that did not vote, and there is the naysayers out there. There are some people out there who are pushing the narrative that people did not vote because Chot Young wasn't black. That is one. There are some people pushing the narrative that the people did not vote because the PNM was not listening. There's the other narrative that people just believe that the PNM got comfortable and they needed a shake-up because, if they had gotten three bite of the cherry, then, well, for sure, we would not have been able to get them to listen to the ground. What are your thoughts about those things?
All right, well, the PNM had 2 consecutive terms, right? The last election was about PNM being given a 3rd term in office. That would have made them 15 years in office. Generally, that isn't healthy for any party. You tend to become very comfortable and laid back and reticent. You lose your touch with people. You can become very arrogant. You stop listening to the ground. So that isn't good for anybody, for any party. A small country like Trinidad and Tobago, 1.5 million people, yeah, we need 2 or 3 parties. And the other parties need to serve as a reminder to the others that when you get power in this country, you will not stay there forever if you don't do what is right or what is just for the people. And of the 100,000 plus PNM supporters who did not vote, I was one who did not vote. And I'm telling you, I'm from W. O'Meara. And when we vote in here, we beat the UNC, we beat them by 5,000 and 6,000. I'm telling you, it was a very close call because nobody in here was voting. I mean, the one in here, but I'm telling you, a substantial amount of diehard PNM supporters in my area, and I know my area very well. Everybody was supporting me and backing me when Senator Hines gave me all the documents to sign up for the party and to represent. At the time, Mr. Antoine was the MP. And I'm telling you, I would have signed up, I would have won in here by a landslide, I would have succeeded him. So when I began talking to the people in here, everybody was saying the same thing. All right? I do think the PNM was listening to what people were saying. We were saying no to the property tax. All right. I mean, Dr. Rowley may have made some decisions that he may have thought was in the best interest of the country, of the party. I mean, I wasn't in support of this whole Stuart Young thing. To me, that made no sense. I don't know where the advice came from to do that, but that was neither here nor there with that. But the main thing was, could we have found another way to avert property tax, or have no problem with property tax, but tax the rich, tax the wealthy, tax the businessmen, start with them and ease up the poor man. And I was saying that. I wrote articles. I said, stop going for the poor man. And people inside, they had a friend in here. He built a gazebo, and then the PNM, or they were sending, or the board, whoever they were sending these little OJT, some young people who don't know what they're saying. No, they're rich in here. You know where I live. You know where I live, right? So you have these cars pulling up with these young people in their early 20s. No, they're rich in here. Went to my friend's house and they saw a small gazebo. This a small apartment. Somebody could live in this. And he had to pay how much? $6,000 or $7,000 a year in property tax. The man is a pensioner. I went and I did my assessment. They told me by this year I should have been paying, and then there was a change in government. And Kamala said no to the property tax, and Kamala won on that. I'm not asking if she won on that. All right? And it would not have been that bad, because the government would have collected close to about $160-something million in property tax. Property tax brings in annually about $300 million. I mean, when property tax going, it's $300-something million the state making, which is a substantial amount of money. It goes to the borrowers, the corporations, or whatever, so they could fix drains and build bridges and all of that. But what I'm saying is, start with the rich, right? Let me, as a poor man, see Faris Al-Rari pay property tax on all those buildings they own. He owns, or his family owns, or whoever. Let me see Coleman Bear pay some property taxes. Let me see Kamala and people and all those wealthy people. A friend told me something once. He said every year is 50 millionaires. He said every 5 years, 50 millionaires around the country. 50 millionaires around the country. Not poor people in government. Very few of those ministers you see in there are poor. Well, tax them and let the people see that they are willing to make these sacrifices. Another thing I'm telling you did not go down well with the people, even though I was glad for Dr. Rowley to get a raise. Come on, you move your salary up to 80-something thousand. People stupid like that. We stupid like that, right? Hey, you get a raise and you get nothing at the poor. That is how the poor man thinks. And when you stop thinking like the poor man, then you will lose touch with. You have to understand, as silly and as dumb and as irrational as his thinking might be, that is how you will look at it. So you're taxing the property tax, then you take a raise in your salary, right? And then you're trying to put this little kind of half-white boy on me, right? You're trying to fool me out. Wow, you feel me stupid, right? You're trying to push a little white boy because you too black. Come on, are we stupid? That was the thinking, that was the talk of the stalwarts, the PNM people who vote forever. Let me tell you something. I've voted since I'm 18 years old, and I've only voted for the PNM. Even when PNM lost, I think it was 33 or something with NAR or whatever, I voted for PNM that time. Most PNM people went and voted for NAR or whoever it was, Robbie. I vote for PNM. That is how loyal I am. And when they see me vote for PNM, nah. So that, to me, that property tax was the undoing of the PNM. Not so much the property tax in and of itself, but that the poor were targeted and the rich weren't targeted. Let me see you who making how much million in rent, and let me see you pay property tax too, and then you can tax me. To me, that was the undoing of the game. As simple as it is, right? 100,000 people didn't vote. I was one of them. You see why I can't get no state brief?
So,
yes, hello?
I listening. I listening. I listening.
Yeah. I want to be able to be free to make my own independent decisions and not to be beholden to any party and be loyal and blind loyalty. I'm not a part of that. My father didn't raise me like that. My father always said, never let anybody tie no string around your neck and lead you about like any little kitten. And I've been a rebel all my life. I stand up to nonsense. And if I see something on it ain't right, I vote it. Right? You know, but I've been there. I've been there with the PNM. I've been on the platform. I've prayed to open the meetings and all of that, and I will do it again. But I think there were some bad choices made and some bad decisions made that hurt the small man. And so they shifted and they gave their vote to KPB. And unfortunately, yellow is the code. They were successful with that and they won because the UNC cannot win without the black vote. They cannot win. And I remember dropping a member home from church. And this particular member she's from East Port of Spain. Watch my sister living on Duncan Street. Born and grown up, street smart like that. PNM to the core. And I'm bringing her home from church to deal with a case she had. With a client, she said, Pastor, I want you to handle this case for me. I said, well, here, what, after church? Come. And she jumped in my car. And she's sitting in the back seat. My wife and I in front. My wife is PNM, NMP, NPM. You take those three letters and you twist it for how? My wife is staunch PNM. So I looked at this, I looked in the review mirror and I looked at my paper. And I said, so elections coming up, who you voting up? She said, Pastor, yellow is the code. Yellow is the code. Nelson Street! When I hear Sister say yellow is the code, I said, no. I said, what happened? She said, nah, that property tax thing. And they taxing the rich boys and them. I said, oh my word, Papa. Nelson Street, you know, yellow is the code. The heart of PNM territory. Hear the complaint? Only raise his salary, right? You put this white boy on me as though he's stupid, and then the same three issues I tell you came from the backseat of my car, from a sister who born and grew up on Nelson Street. So that's what I'm saying. Right?
So what do you think about the leadership now?
The leadership now? What leadership?
Of the People's National Movement.
Of the People's National Movement? No, I'm not just talking about the UNC because as far as I'm concerned, the UNC has no leadership. All right, so we're talking about the leadership of the People's National Movement. Well, we have the opposition leader who is Ms. Penelope Beckles. I support her a lot. You know, I still think, personally, I would like to see Ms. Beckles become more assertive. I don't want her to step out of character because I always remember Dr. Rowley would say something. He would say, when people encourage you to buy a big belly horse, they don't be there to help you feed it. Right? So a lot of people probably been whispering in her ears and whispering through the media, you know, she's too soft, Penny soft. But I talk to Penny soft. Well, you know, if the lady steps out of character and she decides to play an iron lady, right? A Margaret Thatcher type, you know, those same people who criticize and say, what Penny playing, who she feel she is? You know, but that is her demeanor, and I think that demeanor is a good one for us to enter into 2030 because I think her demeanor and her temperament stands in stark contrast and contradistinction to Dr. Rowley's more aggressive, you know, tone and stance. You know, Rowley's a guy, you know, he gets out there, he says what you have to say, and if he have to call something stupid, he calls it stupid, and you know, and we say he's arrogant and he's rough and he's coarse and he's caustic, you know. And then Penny comes along this gentle demeanor, she's soft spoken, and I think the people who are scared of Dr. Rowley for whatever reason, they would welcome Penny and she would bridge certain gaps and, you know, she could do a lot to bring the country together. I think people are more comfortable with her demeanor than they are with Dr. Rowley. It's just something in politics. People just don't like it to be too boisterous or to be too arrogant. They rather the more calm, quiet, cool demeanor than the, you know, more caustic and abrasive one. So I think her demeanor stands in stark contradistinction to Dr. Rowley, and I think that is a welcome thing.
Okay, and if you were to give them any advice,
so I don't have a problem. I like Amy Brown too. I like Dr. Amy Brown has that type of temperament too. That, you know, people would see, you know, as being approachable, you know, and somebody you could talk to. You never see Amy upset or Amy angry or Amy coming at anybody, you know. And I think that is what people want to see after 10 years of Dr. Rowley, a more aggressive alpha male type, and I want to see that calm. And so I like Penny. I support her a lot, you know. And she's a good friend of my good friend, you know.
If you you know what? You know why I laugh, Dad? You know why I laugh?
Why you laugh?
Hear what you say, you know. She's a good friend of your good friend.
Yeah.
So he's not my friend. Why they say our good friend?
Well, brother, I don't want to implicate you, no? I don't want to implicate you in nothing. Let's leave that now. Remember, long time you just say, I riddle, Larry. All right, I riddle, Larry.
I would love it, Larry. I want to tell you, you know, but I don't want to tell you. But if I tell you,
And let me tell you something about Miss Beckles. So stick up in that. She has been one of the more consistent parliamentarians visiting the people of Aripo. And you know, my heart is in Aripo. My wife is from Aripo. And my wife's first cousin is one of her main supporters up there in Aripo and all of that. So, and I am convinced that if Penny becomes Prime Minister, as I believe she will in 2030, that Aripo rule, which has been a thorn in the side of the people of Valencia and the Aripo Savannah for all these years, Penny would fix that Aripo road. Penny would fix that Aripo road, you know? You know, so, and I am also convinced that when Penny gets into government, she will give to my good friend and my son and my brother, whom I've trained and groomed over the years and I have the highest regard for. His name ends with an H and it begins with a K. You'll be looking at Senator the Honorable Senator the Honorable
you that job. You see, you like doing job, way. You like doing job.
Look at box brain contract I going to get. I going to build a real box brain. I know nothing about box brain. Why going to get contracted? Oh Lord, look contract I going to get. Well, boy, listen, I have never been one. I've never been one pastor to try to seek to benefit in any way from the government that is in power. You know, the PNM has always been my party. It's the party of my father. My father was a strong supporter of Dr. Eric Williams. He was good friends with Pastor Samuel Gadsby. They were like Pastor Samuel Gadsby was the president of the Caribbean Union Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. He was also the president of the South Caribbean Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. At that time, my father was the principal of the Caribbean Union College, and so my father and Pastor Samuel Gadsby, the grandfather of Dr. Neil Gadsby, were good friends. And I remember them joking at a wedding we had, and they were talking about Dr. Eric Williams and how they would invite him to the different schools to speak at graduation ceremonies and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm PNM, generational PNM, but unfortunately, I am saying if I see my party going the wrong way, I'll stand up and speak out against it. But you'll never catch me dead voting for the UNC party or for any other party. PNM. You know, so that is my position on it. It's very simple take on it. I don't get too complicated, and to me it's a simple thing because I'm a man on the ground. I know what is happening when the UNC was going to win in 2010. I was good friends with my good friend Mark, and he came here, and Roberts was right out there, sitting down in his Jaguar, right? And Mark came and told me something that I can't repeat here, but he said, Mr. Roberts can't come out of that car now. He can't step out of that car. He had to stay in that car, right? The condition he was in. And my good friend Mark, may he rest in peace, he told me, he said, watch man, we going and win it. I said, the UNC go and win. He said, yeah, we're going and take it from the PNM. I said, well, you know that? He said, we on the ground there and people voting for the, you know what I mean? Yeah, boy. And it happened again. Same thing. So a group of UNC people came walking in here. And I started them. I said, what are they doing in here? What are they coming to tell me? A group of them. And I can't pull up and then I started to talk with them and thinking, I say, hey, who win and win the election? They say, a man told me one time, a former councillor. He said, big man, we winning here. I say, how they winning, boy? And then he said, the people we talking to in here are frustrated with that property tax thing, boy. He said, we go win. You know they win, boy? So when you're on the ground and you're talking to the people, and you realize how the people think, and then there's hundreds of thousands of young black people who don't vote. We have to get them to come out and vote. There's a way to reach them, and I would like us to come and have some good initiatives going for young black people to get their own house and things. And I'm at some good things on the table, you know. Unfortunately, and to me, I'm telling this politics in this country is one step forward, two steps backward. You know, and probably that takes us into what we want to discuss tonight.
Yes. So let's get straight into it. So we're still looking at Venezuela and what's going on with Venezuela. I don't want to get into the OFAC license just yet. Let's look at statements that are continuously being made by the Venezuelan authorities concerning the government of Trinidad and Tobago. We saw where one government minister put his foot in his mouth and Ms. Rodriguez had to put him in his place. I don't know if you remember that story.
Mm-hmm.
Philip Alexander, and then the Prime Minister had to come and distance herself from it and say he has to stay in his lane.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know.
Right. So you have that clip?
Yeah, I think I have it. Let me see if I can pull it for you. Let me see if I can pull
I
it.
have a clip I would like to play.
Have I said it for me now?
I'll send it to you now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am watching at how the UNC personally, I don't think that the Prime Minister, I think she realizing more and more that she make it they make her out.
They made her out where?
In defending or supporting the US.
Mm-hmm.
Because now they have to go cap in hand asking Maduro for help or to support them with this gas deal.
All right, so let's give a little history for the benefit of our listeners, right?
Right.
I sent a clip to you where Stuart Young outlines in just about 5 minutes. He outlines the history of this gas deal. All right, so he was basically saying here, we know that in the future gas would be a difficult commodity for us to access here in Trinidad and Tobago. So we looked ahead and we realized that Venezuela has the Dragon gas or whatever. We have, I think it's 15 or 20 kilometers of pipeline running from the Dragon gas fields to Atlantic LNG, and that is instant monetization of a commodity that is really literally owned by Venezuela, but there are limitations put on it in that under the Biden administration, Biden had said, yeah, well, go ahead, but don't. It's like, okay, let me break it down. I have a mango tree in my yard, and it's bearing red fully mango. But the United States tell me I can pick my own mango. Trinidad and Tobago have a rod. I don't have any rod. America take all my rod. They sanction me, I can't buy rod. I can't go out in my yard. I just have to sit down and watch these mangoes. But Trinidad have a rod. Trinidad not under any sanctions. America say, you know, Trinidad, you could go and pick Venezuela mango. You understand where I'm going?
Yeah.
You could go and pick Venezuela's mango. All right? And you could take the mangoes to Trinidad and sell them. But when you sell them, don't give Venezuela the money. And that is something I think we're missing with this thing, you know. Venezuela must not benefit from the deal. Or their benefit must be minimal.
Hmm.
That is a very important aspect of the drug and gas deal, in that the United States is of the opinion that if Trinidad and Tobago pick Venezuela's mangoes, all right, and when they sell it, they give Venezuela cash. Venezuela will use that cash to buy weapons and to put themselves in a position where they are more for security threat or whatever to America in the region and all of that. So even Biden was saying that. Biden was saying here what? If you have to pay them in LPG. Remember that?
Yep, good kind.
Yeah. Pay them in LPG. I send the clip to you. Rest your tongue said it. Pay them in LPG. All right? But don't give them cash. So the drug and gas deal really benefits Trinidad because we have the infrastructure to harvest the gas and pipeline it to Trinidad and develop it and and convert it into liquid natural gas down in Atlantic LNG and all of that. Venezuela don't have that kind of infrastructure in place. They just have the material there and they can't do anything with it. So we are the prime beneficiaries. I'd say 90% of the benefit is to Trinidad and Tobago. What I'm saying, I wrote an article recently where I said, it is not just getting the drug and gas deal, it's how you get it. And I think in the way in which the UNC negotiated that deal, I think it compromised our integrity as a nation. It compromised our standing in the CARICOM community. I think we're the head of CARICOM, 15 countries of CARICOM. And I think it compromised, the personal integrity of the Prime Minister, because you basically said, yeah, well, thanks for the opportunity. We'll go and pick the mangoes. But you say, no. Before you pick one mango, before you go and harvest any of that gas, let us make a deal. Donald Trump is very transactional. He wrote a book called The Art of the Deal. So he is saying, on that buying, you could have just go and do it. And he said, well, don't give the cash. Don't give cash to Venezuela, but I want to know what the U.S. is going to get out of it. And he made an offer. Well, I don't think he made an offer. I don't even think he made an offer because I never saw on paper where the U.S. asked the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago if they could use Trinidad as a base if they want to launch operations against Venezuela. If Venezuela decides that's a guy. And I think that was a gratuitous offer made by the Prime Minister. I think so.
Yep, she made that offer. They didn't. Yeah,
Yeah,
she made that offer. She made that offer to them.
Right, it was a bit too gratuitous and generous, I think, and I think she compromised the integrity of the country, and she compromised the integrity of our standing in the Caribbean community, because I think the Barbados Prime Minister and Gonzalez in St. Vincent and others basically are of the opinion that the U.S. military shouldn't be here because under CELAC and the Havana thing of 1979, we are deemed to be a zone of peace.
Right.
And a zone of peace simply means no narco trafficking and no nuclear weapons and no dumping of nuclear waste and all of that. We are deemed to be a zone of peace. But in her speech at the UN, Kamala came out and said, well, this zone of peace, it's illusory. It doesn't exist because we have so much death taking place. And she painted a very grim picture of Trinidad and Tobago, and she's saying there's no zone of peace. So she's of the opinion that if we link with America and we make best friend with America, we make this very gratuitous offer. America, anytime you want to use Trinidad and Tobago, you could come. We open up ourselves to you. And she's thinking that if she make best friend with America and anything goes wrong, then America will make the offer and pressure Maduro to enter into this deal. But I am saying this and listen very carefully. Trinidad and Tobago, and listen very carefully to me, sir. Maduro is about to declare a 3-month state of emergency. Because I saw an article where the U.S. might be contemplating launching attacks on shore. Right?
Right.
On Venezuelans. Right? Let me just read it. It's in the Express newspaper, September 30th, 2025, and let me just read it quickly. The recent decision by the Donald Trump-led American government to prepare to unilaterally bomb drug labs inside of Venezuela is a very troubling move. And they are saying, and this is an opinion, they are saying, I think it's an opinion, yes. The underlying motive is clearly regime change in Venezuela. History shows that this is consistent with U.S. foreign policy. If they do not like you, they will find a way to move you. Depending on the level of escalation, Trinidad and Tobago will not be in any position to help itself if Venezuelans decide to illegally migrate en masse. Talking about a population of 35 to 40 million Venezuelans. We just have 1.5 million Trinidadians here. If America starts to bomb these alleged drug labs on Venezuelan soil, Venezuelans taking up and their goods and their little picnic and they're coming here. All right? And this plot twist. The Office of the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, or the UNHCR in Trinidad and Tobago, was closed at the end of August 2025. Some of my clients are from the Dominican Republic. I have clients from Venezuela, and I had to tell them last week. Well, I'm on my computer. They're sitting right there in my office. And I'm saying, let me call the UNHCR and see if I can make a link for you all to get at least a refugee card. You know, when I call the UNHCR office closed since August 31st, because of a lack of funding, because, you know, America shut down the funding to all these UN agencies, right? UNESCO and UNICEF and UNHCR and all of that. They closed their office in Trinidad, brother, since the end of August. And they have an international office. It's located in Panama. And now you have to call them, but they are not given any refugee cards. That's done. Only for me to come and read this book in preparation for your program. The Office of the UNHCR was closed at the end of August. I knew that. This means no more US dollars for taking in refugees, as happened when the People's National Movement was in government, when PNM was in government, and those 16,000 Venezuelans came in here. Trinidad and Tobago was getting funded millions of dollars from the UN, from America. America was giving tens of millions of dollars to the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. And Trinidad and Tobago was able to access that money to support the Venezuelans. Yeah, we don't have that money again. That money dried up since August because Trump shut that down. So if Trump starts to bomb Venezuela, and he say, well, they identify a drug lab here, and they start to bomb Venezuela, it's not hundreds, you know. It's tens of thousands of Venezuelans coming over here. They can't get refugee cards. We don't have the money to support it. Right? And America not funding the UNHCR. All right? So I don't know if our Prime Minister foresaw all these possibilities. Right? This thing could turn out anyhow, and it wouldn't be good for us. You know?
Wow.
Yeah. It's a serious thing, right? And you see, when I wrote the article, right? Now, I tried to get into our Prime Minister's head to see what she was thinking. I think she was saying, make best friend with the US, right? If we get friendly with them, they'll give us the drug and gas deal. But we have to make an offer to them so they can use it anytime. So basically, make best friend with the United States, but become worse enemies with Venezuela in the process. But I am saying that the President Maduro is about to declare a state of emergency for 3 months because the US threatened to start bombing drug labs on Venezuelan soil. And if we follow in that war in Palestine and that Gaza and Israel thing going on there, we know a lot of places will get hit that aren't drug labs. The first school they hit in Venezuela, right? And kill 100 and something little Venezuelan children. Or the first hospital they bomb saying they mistook it for a drug lab. Brother, state of emergency, drug and gas deal, nothing. And Maduro has also said he instituted a 3-month state of emergency with the power to extend it for a further 3 months. So, under state of emergency, can't gas nothing. Nothing. All those economic initiatives will be shut. It can't happen. So, and he could continue to have state of emergency, just like we have 1 year, and we keep extending it. Maduro could do that too. He come in and take no gas under no state of emergency because Maduro don't know. After we sell all those mangoes in the analogy, he ain't getting nothing from it. He just getting a set of LPG tanks. He don't want that. He has no money to make from it. So he could say, here what? Oh, so they went and make best friend with the United States of America. Okay. Trump presidency will change just now, Trump for 3 more years inside here. All right, and the Democrats will take over. Gavin Newsom will be the new president of the United States of America. You see that drug and gas deal, you as long as you there. Madam Prime Minister, they have identified her. I was so sad when they called her drunk. I said for people at the highest level of government in Venezuela to refer to the Prime Minister of Tobago as that drunk. They have been several deep discussions over there about this Prime Minister.
Yep, they do.
These folks at the highest level, they talking about that. They talking about the country because we were good to them under the PNM. We allowed 16,000 of them to come. We gave them work permits or whatever they get to work and who get residency and all of that. We were good to them. And Dr. Rowley spoke about being nice and friendly to your neighbors and all of that. The PNM was good to them. And I don't like the position we have put ourselves in. I think the Prime Minister has basically sold the country for 30 pieces of silver.
Well, let's hear the
I have a
speech.
problem with that.
Let's hear the statement that you just referred to by the Venezuelan Minister of Security.
Cabello called her a drunk and further accused the U.S. of being liars, saying the White House did not explain how its naval forces determined that the boat came from Venezuelan territory, nor what procedure was used to identify the cartel, nor the nationalities of those on board. He was speaking on his weekly program last night.
For example, the stupid crook who rules the Dominican Republic and the drunk who rules Trinidad, when they... Yes, a drunk sides with this attack. They are condemning their people to be executed at sea. That's right, they are condemning their fishermen to be executed.
Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander says Diosado's comment towards Prasad Bisesa is highly offensive, and he had some questions for him.
You're calling persons' names. We don't do that here. But since if he could identify who as that, probably he's either that too, or he's a madman. It would be fair to say, if I say to him, because of what is happening now in the United States, that he's facilitating drugs in his country. Is he a drug pusher? Is he a pimp?
All right. Sorry, I doesn't like to hear your partner, I know that your friend. I know that your partner. Roger.
I don't know that man from Adam.
Yeah, the man.
Right.
The man say. Yeah, the man say, but all the lawyers that I wanted to hear your view on that, Could you explain to me what he meant by? Could you explain that what he mean by lawyers are drinking milk from their own cows? It is not for them to drink. What do you mean by that?
All right, so I think to even attempt to unravel the mystery of what Mr. Alexander would say from time to time is an exercise in futility, but I think he was referencing a particular lawyer, all right, who had written a pre-action protocol letter and addressed it to him.
No, that was before that lawyer. No. That was before she.
Okay.
That was before Crystal.
Okay.
That was before Crystal. So don't try those Batman thing there about he trying to he talking about the lawyer.
Well, he may have meant the same thing that that lawyers representing certain cases or certain matters, they have a benefit to gain from representing particular clients, and there's some political benefit that is accruing to them. I guess that is what he means by the drinking. Instead of representing the cow, the drinking milk from their own cow, they're supposed to represent them. It had to be something like that. I mean, he made another statement. He made another statement about if you eat a banana, would you see it? I mean, brother, I had to be worrying about interpreting the book of Revelation. Revelation chapter 15 and some beast with 7 heads and 10 horns and things. I don't have time for like that. What you mean by eat a banana? You wouldn't see it. Would you see it? And you walk off. Just you walk off from here. That man walk off, that is the best point. To get the depth in that point.
Yeah, Livan say, he say, a community center is a center for the community.
No, it's true. A community center is a center for the community. It's true. I like on street cred. I like on my boys street cred and
oh gosh.
You know, but the kind of comical characters we have there, you know, running this country. That's why when you ask me what is my view of the leadership, I thought you was talking about the UNC. As far as I see, the UNC is mimicking Donald Trump. I think the whole idea about I heard somebody start talking about Trinidad first and all of that. You know, it's like they don't have a plan and they just mimicking USA and being beholden to Donald Trump. But Donald Trump won't be in office forever. He's coming to the end of his second term. He may try to stay there forever, but the US Constitution wouldn't allow it. And in 3 years' time, he would be gone, and so the Gavin Newsom would be the new President of the United States, and he would reverse every single one of Donald Trump's policies. I understand that the Democrats have a plan to change the constitution of SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of the United States, from 9 to 15. Right now, there are 9 judges on the U.S. Supreme Court. They reverse Roe v. Wade and all these holy grails, right, of the U.S. Justice system. They're reversing, and he just signing these executive orders. But if they raise the constitution of SCOTUS from 9 to 15, right now it's a 6-3. The Republicans have a 6-3 majority. Trump has 6 people, the Republicans, and there are 3 liberal judges there. So we lose in all our cases at SCOTUS. But if we move it to 15 judges, then we would have a 9-6 majority, and then we could reverse all these things that Trump did. And hopefully the Democrats could win, and we could win with a landslide when we could control the Senate and the Congress. And we could change the constitution of SCOTUS from 9 judges to 15 judges, so we could have a 9-6 majority, and we could appoint 6 Democratic-leaning judges and change the majority from our minority from 3 to 9. Because Trump has done a lot of damage that will affect the United States of America for hundreds of years. That's what people don't understand, for hundreds of years. You know, so if we make best friend with Donald Trump now, when he's gone, right? What would Maduro think of Trinidad today? You know, what would he think of us? We would have to have a regime change probably before they change their attitude. You know, to what else? Because right now we have positioned ourselves as a hostile to Venezuela. All right, a friend of mine who is my enemy. You know, so I don't think we're in a good position. And then up comes Philip Alexander to say that because there was a recent visit here by the Prime Minister of India, you know, to say that if there's a nuclear power and they would do Venezuela. I mean, cannot shut them down very fast.
No, but you do it. No, you're saying it too nice, Dad. You're saying it too nice. The reality of it is, and she didn't shut him down too fast because if the reporters didn't ask her, she had nothing to say. The country was calling on her to distance herself or to stop Alexander. She ain't stop him. 1, 2. The first statement he made was, and I sent it to you, the first out-of-timing statement that she never corrected him for was when he said that CPEP and URP was created for black people to say poor and stupid.
Mm-hmm.
That's one.
Mm-hmm.
She never distanced herself from that statement. 1, 2.
Mm-hmm.
What he said on his platform was that Trinidad have more East Indians than Africans, and the visit by the East Indian Prime Minister shows and tells Maduro them that I'm gonna play the thing, I'm gonna play it. I have it right here. I'm gonna play it for you to hear what he say. Take a listen to what he said.
Right.
Modi and India have us held gently in the palm of his hands. Modi and India have us held gently in the palm of his hands, and he will nuke Venezuela. You think it's Trump alone you're dealing with? Touch Trinidad, Delcy.
A few moments later.
Any thoughts on the back and forth between one of your ministers and the Venezuelan vice president?
He was totally out of line. I do not share his views. I have since told him he needs to stay in his zone. Let's hope that he complies. But the cabinet, my government, we do not share the views expressed by that honorable minister.
What I say is on behalf of Philip Edward Alexander. I'm not crossing any lines with them. They should stay in their lane.
The PM spoke about staying in your lane. Is this staying in your lane?
I think I am going to stay more in my lane after this. Yeah? Have a great day.
So you hear him?
Listen to me. Listen to me. When the Prime Minister, by simply appointing these people and having people like Anel Roberts and Philip Alexander around her, you know the kind of mouth these men have on them. You know the kind of things these men are capable of saying. I am of opinion, personally, that these men voice these opinions in their private meetings with the Prime Minister, and they say what she wants to hear, and they say those things, which is what she already believes.
Thank you.
But sometimes they just lose control and they go privately and they jump out, and then she has to, in order to save face, she has to come out and play she's rebuking them publicly, but she shares that same view. I am of the opinion that the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago shares that view that Alexander has, that black people stupid and URP and CPEP was created to keep black people stupid. I believe she shares that view. He's just stupid enough to say it.
Do you think it's wrong? Do you think it's...
You choose these men. You choose these men. You make them senators. You make them ministers in the Ministry of that. You know the kind of mouth these men have on them. And when they open them out, you want to play your hurt and your comment. I'm not falling for that.
But do you think that it's wrong for people to call? Do you think that it is wrong for people to call on her to move Philip Alexander or to I don't even know what to say.
If it is wrong for people to call for him to be removed,
yeah,
he should not have been put there in the first place. He should not have been put there in the first place. And Roberts is another one. Look at the kind of character you have there, Senator. He's not Senator. Why are they there in the first place? Knowing the risk of these men's mouths for your government, so that people have to go on for their removal. She put them there for a reason. She liked them out. Right? But when they overstep, or they say something all the time, and she has to save face and do damage control and come and play, she pulling them in line. But this is not the first time Alexander has things to say about the UNC, you know. Right? He fell out with them already and he's going to fall out with them again. I don't think he will make 5 years with them. Because the man has a serious case of verbal diarrhea. And he can't help himself. I notice Anil is very quiet.
Staying in his lane, maybe.
Yeah, he's staying in the lane because she said, I remember clearly, she said she's not making the mistake she made in the first instance.
No, she didn't.
She became Prime Minister.
Yeah.
That she was too soft and all of that. So she coming out swinging, but I see her fire anybody yet. Remember this time, under her first regime, Rashmi and all of them gone already, you know?
Yeah.
Right? She was firing people like every day. But so far, I didn't see any casualties yet. Even though I think Philip Alexander should not have been put there in the first place. And then after making those two statements, after the first one, she should have gotten rid of him. But I am of the opinion that Kamala shares the opinion of Philip Alexander.
Interesting.
Yeah. Understand? It's like you want to have somebody on your team who have a big mouth, so when the neighbors start to act up, you can say, here what? Go and get them from her. Handle them from her. Right? You want to have people like that on your team, but then from time to time they could overdo it. And you have to rein them in. But they could be the undoing of your government, because what he said about the Prime Minister Modi and India nuking Venezuela, nuking that man saying, nuking, you know. You, the minister was not sure to be and you say the Prime Minister of India will drop a nuclear bomb on Venezuela, right?
Yeah. And
like you get was a slap on the wrist and talking about staying in your lane.
Yeah. My thing is, if they drop a nuclear, you know what could happen to Trinidad and Tobago?
Boy, that statement, there was this man has no frame of reference. He has no knowledge of international events. He knows nothing about nuclear treaties. And we here in the Caribbean don't know what a nuclear bomb is, brother.
Explain it.
Know what that is.
Explain it to us, Dad. Because some people and all might be listening and thinking, well, they may believe Philip.
All right. They may believe Philip is what?
The nuclear. And thinking that it wouldn't affect us.
All right. So, in the war with Japan, right? And America dropped 2 bombs. One on Hiroshima and one on Nagasaki. Right? The plane that carried those bombs, a nuclear bomb does not have to hit the ground to cause damage. You know what causes the damage? The bomb is dropped from a plane and it detonates 1/4 mile from the ground. Right? So, if you ever been to Wallafield, like I used to go to Wallafield for drag racing, the cars run for 1/4 mile. 1/4 mile ain't far. In my days of drag racing, we used to race from what used to be the Kedana, driving, that traffic light right there. Before the exchange was there, that Kedana driving there.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah.
To the Val Park traffic light. That was a 1/4 mile. Then it had Electric Avenue. Right? And then it had the foreshore. Electric Avenue was that 1/4 mile in front of QRC. From the roundabout in QRC to the next roundabout, that is 1/4 mile. Imagine a bomb detonated that above Caracas or above some place where have a drug lab. The fallout, everything within 8 miles is immediately incinerated. So, if a nuclear bomb is detonated 1/4 mile above Curep, you know what Curep is, right?
Yeah.
Everything within 8, let's say the bomb is detonated 1/4 mile above KFC and Curep. My brother was a physicist. I know what I'm talking about. Anybody could go and research it. 1/4 mile above KFC. In the dead of night, a B-52 bomber flies over Trinidad and Tobago and drops a nuclear bomb and it detonates quarter mile above KFC, 8 miles in every direction, everything turns to powder. Concrete, glass, human skin, human bones, human flesh, gyro man, gyro, the pavement, the road, the cars, 8 miles in every direction. Beyond that 8 miles, the scarring of tissue, cancer, within years, right? People having cancer and all of that. Our closest point of Venezuela is 6 miles. This clown going on his platform, I say the Prime Minister of India, if Maduro play the fool, will drop a nuclear bomb. You know how many treaties signed since Nagasaki and Hiroshima not ever to use a weapon like that? America has 4,000 and something nuclear weapons. Russia has about 6,000 and something. There are 9 nuclear powers in this. Right? You have India, you have Russia, you have America, you have Israel, you have England, you have France. That is 5. I have data 4, and then there was about 9 Israel. Right? And in the International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA, it's not easy to develop a nuclear weapon. And the bombs they have now are nuclear fission, right? Where the atoms are split. They're developing nuclear fusion now. And there is nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion takes place on the sun. That's what gives us energy, is nuclear fusion, not fission, you know. Fusion works, you know. Fusion is hydrogen atoms fusing and turning into heavier elements like helium, you know. You know, it's a nuclear fusion bomb that's taking out the whole of Venezuela. So nuclear, this man doesn't have any authority to talk about nuclear weapons. That's he's talking about, you know, a Scud missile or, you know, some traditional warhead. He should have been fired immediately. But she put him there. Is she make him minister in the Ministry of Housing? Who's the Minister of Housing?
David Lee.
Good.
David Lee is the Minister of Housing.
You put him there, and irresponsible statement after irresponsible statement. When he made that statement, I went upstairs and I went upstairs. When he made that one about black people shopping, I went to my wife and said, look at what Philip Alexander is saying. The man is actually stating that he believes black people are stupid. Because there's a thinking within the UNC that black people are stupid. And it's that foolishness of black people why we support the PNM, because the PNM ain't doing nothing for us and the PNM ain't doing nothing for us and we should support them. Well, I expect them to say. So she wouldn't fire him for that, and he should have been fired. Because I am of the opinion that she shares that.
Wow. So where do we go from here now? Because we want to open up the phone lines in a little bit. Where do you see this going? Because you would have explained a while ago about you would have explained a while ago about this whole oil and gas deal, this jargon deal. But you know, TV6 had a question this evening, right?
Mm-hmm.
The question was, do you expect the jargon gas talks between Trinidad and Tobago government and Venezuela to be cordial?
No, not this government. Dragon gas will happen, you know, over the PNM government.
Well, here what?
Maduro? I said today, just today I said it. I want to see how much balls Maduro have now. Because your ministers called the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago a drunk. They're very upset with her opening up Trinidad and Tobago to be used by America's military as they want in case Venezuela decides to attack Venezuela for they having the Essequibo or whatever. Not even Guyana opened up themselves to America to say, come here and do whatever you want from here if you want to attack Venezuela. And the Essequibo region, Venezuela, interested in Venezuela, never showed any interest in what we have, because what we have is nothing compared to them, because they talk about the heavy dirty gas that they have over there, whereas they have the light sweet crude over there in the Essequibo or whatever. But what I'm saying, I want to see now if Maduro is going to come and be best friend with Kamala, because Marco Rubio said he will support the drug and gas deal. After Trinidad and Tobago put themselves in a position that is hostile to the interests of Venezuela. Let us see what Maduro would say. Maduro ain't no fool. Right? And America can't force them to enter into any drug and gas deal. They can't force Maduro to do that. The gas is Venezuela owner. It's not ours, you know. We just have the pipeline and we have the infrastructure to harvest it and ship it to Atlantic LNG. But it's not our own. It's Venezuela own. And if Maduro say no drug and gas, is no drug and gas. If he say no drug and gas because I don't like what the Prime Minister did and what she had to say and how she opened up Trinidad and Tobago to be, she need to apologize or whatever. She need to state what she means by that, because I need to know if I'm entering into an arrangement with a hostile nation. Furthermore, I have 2 states of emergency, and I'll be extending them by 3 months because America threatened now to attack Venezuela, people of Venezuela, and so on. So with the state of emergency, I can't enter into no drug and gas deal, and you leave it just so for the next 4 years. So this thing where the Prime Minister says she coming back here with good news, and all of this, and good news, nothing. This thing is dependent on Maduro. Maduro makes the final call on that. And Marco Rubio and Donald Trump cannot tell Maduro, yeah, what? Drug and gas, they don't work. They don't care about us, America, really don't care about us. They're just happy that Kamala opened up the country so that they could use it if they need to. And so in order to give her a little sweetie, to make her feel like it's the right thing, don't worry, we'll support you with the drug and gas deal. But they know that it's Maduro call. And Maduro could see my country under a state of emergency. There are no pipeline, no gas, nothing to no LNG. So I want to see.
Wow. And yeah, so this is interesting. This is very, very, very interesting. And I think the callers will want to now get in to hear your view, to ask you questions concerning some of the things that you would have shared this evening. So you all know the numbers to call. 464-7003. 464-7003. That is the number to call in. And you can ask Pastor Mackenzie whatever questions you have in line of the discussion of Venezuela and what's going on with Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago. That was that song coming over the phone there.
I ain't getting no song. You getting things.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I've been watching and a lot of things. I don't know if you saw. I wonder if I can play this while you wait for a caller to call in. There's a video with Maduro talking about Trinidad and Tobago. Have you heard it? Yeah, Maduro.
What is he saying?
I will not play it for you to hear. He wasn't saying kind words. I can tell you that. He wasn't saying, I love you, so we take good care of you. Only Maduro understands. No, he wasn't saying that. So I'm going to play for you what Mr. Maduro had to say. Take a listen, eh?
Yeah, listening.
Certain that the people of Trinidad and Tobago are against this. We are neighboring countries. You know that Trinidad and Tobago was sold by the Spanish Empire to the British Empire few years before the independence of Venezuela. So very early we were one single community. The lives in the Caribbean Sea and the coast of the state Sucre, Trinidad and Tobago has been a life of cooperation and brotherhood. It's only now when this lady comes in, there has never been a governor of Trinidad and Tobago to threaten a war against Venezuela. Who is behind this? Who is imposing the intrigue? Who's whispering in the ears of this lady? How is she able to declare this? Who is behind all this? Marco Rubio, of course. The death lord and warlord, that's how he's being described. Wherever he goes, there are dead bombs, dead children. The lord of death and war, of hate, Marco Rubio. So Trinidad and Tobago, all his sectors and political sectors and cultural, economic, and its people, they must impose once more relations of respect. Simple as that. They must impose relations of respect. And we will see. We have defense plans, and the armed forces have announced a part of that. We have defense plans that escalate. There are different lines, and Venezuela can be certain, completely certain, that we will guarantee our sovereignty and preserve peace of our country. Now on the vessel, the fishing vessel, certain that the people of Trinidad.
All right, Dad, what do you think?
That was Maduro.
That's Maduro. That's the interpreter interpreting what he said.
You know what I've noticed? You have any callers yet?
Yeah, we have a caller.
All right, okay.
Hello, good evening. All right, he hang up. Go ahead, Daddy, hang up.
Yes, hello, good evening.
He hung up.
All right, okay. You know, I've noticed with the comments coming out of Venezuela,
What's that?
they recognize, they speak as though Kamala has been bullied into the position she has taken. They are not seeing it as her independent position. I've noticed two commentators coming out of Venezuela speaking as though Kamala is being influenced by the United States of America, and it's not her decision. It's not the decision of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And you know why that is so? That is so because Maduro is well aware that we were nice to the Venezuelans under the PNM. We were nice to them. We were nice to them. So they're not stupid people. Two commentators I've heard saying that. It's not she talking, it's Rubio, it's Trump talking there. So they're seeing her as a little puppet, as somebody who is weak and can't stand on her own and in fear of the United States of America and the military might of America. And so she has cowered into that position. And I think that augurs well for us because I don't think Maduro, if given the opportunity, would punish Trinidadians and Tobagonians for the error of what the Prime Minister had to say.
All right, we have a call on the line.
It's not she who's talking there.
All right, we have a call on the line. Hello, good evening.
Pleasant good night, Pastor. Good night to you. Good night to your viewers, and good night to your dad, Pastor Mackenzie. Pastor Mackenzie, sir, I have a question to ask you. It's about legality here, right? So, the license is an arrangement between, the OFAC license is an arrangement between America, Venezuela, and Trinidad, right? Now, if that is so, what if Venezuela decides to cancel, right, the 30-year license given to, I think it'll be Shell or NGC, right? And let's say they decide to do the drilling for themselves and process the gas somewhere else. Will that be kind of breaking the contract of the OFAC license? Will that cause a fallout between the arrangement of the whole the drug and gas deal. What legality will that happen if Venezuela decides, well, here what? We are going to give all of the gas. We will do it somewhere else. I mean, they did an arrangement like that with Russia earlier this year. But what if they go like into something that, what legal ramifications that will have now?
All right, so let me explain how the OFAC licenses work, right? There are two types of OFAC license. They have the general license and the specific license. The OFAC, let me say what OFAC is. OFAC is the Office of Foreign Assets Control, and it is a U.S. Department of Justice body designed to control the conducting of transactions between countries, a country that America recognizes, like Trinidad and Tobago, and countries that are under sanctions. So America created this OFAC office to monitor around the world how her friends or countries that they're good with, like Trinidad and Tobago, interact with countries that they deem as hostile. So for instance, America deems Cuba to be hostile, they deem Venezuela to be hostile, they deem Iran to be hostile, they deem North Korea to be hostile. So if we want to buy apples from North Korea, and America says, no, we are putting sanctions on North Korea because they are developing nuclear weapons, and Trinidad and Tobago, you cannot do business with them. But if you want to buy apples from them, you have to apply for a license from the Office of Foreign Assets and Control. America would give you that license to import specifically like apples. So that's a specific license. If you want to bring in general goods and services, then we apply for a general license. But basically, we as Trinidad and Tobago have to go through OFAC in order to do trade with a country that America deems to be hostile. So this is how it works. We want to harvest the gas from Venezuela. So we can't just go and talk to Maduro. We have to talk to America. And we have to say, America, we would like to enter into this deal. And America gives us a license specifically to bring in that gas. We can't bring in gold, we can't bring in silver, we can't bring in anything else from Venezuela. And that is a specific OFAC license. So we get to bring the gas into Trinidad and Tobago, but America gets to supervise the transaction. That is why Joe Biden came and said, okay, when you sell the natural gas or whatever, do not pay Venezuela in money, pay them in kind, pay them in LPG, or pay them in goods, you know. They may need medical supplies, pharmaceuticals, they could give them that, but don't give them money, because if you give them money, they could go and conduct trade, illegal transactions around the world, they could buy weapons, they could even secure a nuclear weapon. All right, so America conducts the transaction, but let me tell you, this the plot twist. The plot twist is, even though we have to apply to OFAC, this United States Department, right? Even though we have to apply to them to get the license, it is still up to Maduro as a sub-leader for sub-nation to say, okay, I get a license from OFAC. Well, that don't mean you could just come here and take our gas. They still have to consent. And America cannot force Maduro to give us that gas.
All right, we have a call on the line. Hello, good evening.
Good night, Pastor.
Hi, good evening, sir.
And good night to your father. I will be short. I have my opinion on certain things that is going on here in the country. Right? As far as I'm concerned, this present government of Trinidad and Tobago has no deal to get with Maduro. Maduro is making no deal with Kamala Persad-Bissessar. No deal. And another thing, she was so quick to speak and say, if you touch Guyana, we in Trinidad will be very upset with that type of behavior. Why is Guyana saying that about Trinidad? So, it's just simple to know. Human behavior, God gives us that understanding about human behavior. It's just dressed up, but it's the same behavior. She has no deal to get. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. All right, so we're taking your calls on 464-7003, 464-7003. You can call in and tell us what is your view on what we have been discussing this evening. What we have been discussing.
I am hoping that Maduro understands. I understand what the last caller is saying, but I am hoping that Maduro would be the bigger man. He would be the bigger man and say, here, what? The people of Trinidad and Tobago need this. They were nice to us under the PNM regime. This woman came in. She's a loose cannon. The people of Trinidad and Tobago really need this. The economy of Trinidad and Tobago needs this deal. I'm going to overlook what this woman has said and the few stupid people she has in her administration and what they've been saying, and I'm going to make this deal work. I'm hoping that is what would happen.
Yeah, but remember, and as Minister Young would have said, as MP Young would have said today, you see, while we might be wanting Tim to be the bigger person, right? There is also an aspect of Minister Munilal, when he would have called out Ms. Rodriguez and called her all sorts of names, he would have, remember they would have written to America to sanction. So it's a whole lot of tail between your leg. You want them to just roll over and play dead and say, yeah, what? But this is not Dr. Rowley. This is not Dr. Rowley and Chotong they have to deal with. They're going to be dealing with a man who call him a prime minister who call him a drug dealer, all kind of thing, you know.
Right. So I am thinking that if you have a neighbor and that neighbor is very abusive, she's cursing and swearing, she's always drunk, she always in a mess, you know, she's a loud mother. She has 7 beautiful children. And you are accustomed, but those children always hungry and need things, right? And you always giving the children food to eat. And one day the neighbor drunk, she in a state of mind, and she come and she cuss you, and she tell you all kind of thing. You have a choice to make. You could say, hey, what neighbor, I like how you're doing this, you know. I won't give you any food. Next thing is see the children hungry. So you'll say, here, what? This is not the children's doing it. This is this drunken parent. And to me, when they referred to the prime minister as a drunk, I saw that as they making a distinction between this particular UNC leadership and the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So with all that the UNC would have done in the past and they're calling him a drug dealer and all that, I think they see that as the regime and not the thinking of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And hopefully they would make a distinction and the country would benefit. And they will ignore Kamala and her minions. Because they keep saying it, Maduro whispering in her ear, something wrong with that woman. They're not attacking the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Because they realize we not behind her. They're reading the comments, you know. And they realize that the people of Trinidad and Tobago not behind Kamala with what she did. She did. And I think they'll make a distinction and they wouldn't make us suffer because of that.
I think you're dreaming, yes. So, I think you're dreaming.
I'll wake up.
I think you're dreaming.
Hopefully. That's what I say. I hoping that we don't have to suffer because of statements made by Kamala and the position she will have laid out, and that Maduro would be the bigger man and realize she won't be there forever. And this is not the thinking of the general population of Trinidad and Tobago. We're not mistreating Venezuelans over here. We're not beating them up. We're not killing them. We being nice to them. We have been nice to them under the PNM. I would have make some statements or whatever, but generally, I would have say that they have nothing to fear. So Venezuelans not being mistreated over here or anything to say, well, he's saying, well, Trinidadians doing something to Venezuelans. This is just the ranting and raving of a mad woman. You know? So,
and I don't think he might want to meet with that.
I'm hoping that he would be the bigger man, and you know. But we don't know how this will work. Suppose America start to bomb Venezuela now. And when they're bombing them, Kamala, they're cheering on, saying kill them all violently. You understand? Next thing the world want to know is what is woman drinking?
And then he might want some Grey Goose.
Grey Goose. Picture flit.
This is us. This
You know,
is
so
while we may be laughing and thinking that this is a joke. This is serious business, you know. Serious business.
What got me worried is when Donald Trump said he looking to start to drop bombs on Venezuela. And so it is one thing to take out a pirogue at sea. Right? It's one thing to take out a pirogue at sea and kill 11 men at sea. It's another thing to start identifying targets on land like what they did in Colombia. We don't want them to do that here in Venezuela. Oh boy, that's serious thing. We don't want Donald Trump to start to do that here, and Donald Trump, he acting as though it's some video game he playing, coming and posting now. You ain't seeing it, there are no fishing boats. Not even the fishing boats, all of them scared to come out and we bombing them. You all seeing it? You all seeing it? He like a big child. Right, as though that is a joke. Killing people is a joke for them. Look what he allowing Israel to do it to the people of Gaza.
Why is he doing that? Why is he doing that, Dad? And why is the white evangelical churches rooting him on for doing that?
Because of their theology that Israel is God's people and they have a duty to protect Israel. Every U.S. president, every Protestant U.S. president has said the same thing. And the only president that did not have that view was the Catholic president. So Biden is Catholic, Kennedy was Catholic. But generally, that is the view of the United States of America, the Protestant president. That Israel, they are God's people, and even though they rejected the Christ, America has a duty to protect them. Because eventually, with that particular theology, God is going to save them. God is going to save Israel. You know, so America has a religious and spiritual duty to protect them. So they give them $3-4 billion a year in aid and in weapons and all of that. So that is not going to change now. That is not going to change. Western Judeo-Christianity and their pseudo interpretation of the Bible and the role of Israel in the Bible. You know.
So what do you know that there are Christian pastors in Trinidad who believe the same thing?
Yes. Every Sunday they're talking nonsense and supporting every bomb they drop in Gaza, they're supporting it because they see Israel and Gaza as Jews as Muslim. All right, but it's not that. It's a political thing, you know, and it is rooted in a theology that the Christian right have come to accept in the United States of America. You know, support Israel at any cost. America has had God-given duty that it was used by Hillary Clinton. And the United States of America has a God-given duty and responsibility to protect Israel. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
That's serious.
Wow. And what are your thoughts about the guy who got murdered?
Which guy are you talking about?
The social media guy.
Who, Charlie Cook?
Yeah.
He's a total and complete 100% fool. All right? And let me give you the backstory to him. He had applied for entry into West Point Academy. West Point is one of the prestigious academies, military academies. It is the most prestigious military academy in the United States of America. Donald Trump went there. And it's only the very rich and the very wealthy, you know, get you there, they offer, you know, whatever. And he had applied and he did not get through. And he realized that when he visited the campus, they had more black and brown people than they had whites. And he wrote letters when he was refused entry because he failed, right? He failed and he was not admitted to the college. He wrote letters to the congressmen and senators and stuff complaining about too many black and brown people getting in and a black person took his place and all of that. And therein was born his hatred of blacks. You notice in all this community, this is something with black people. He don't even refer to the brown people or to the Mexicans. All these black people are black people are black people are. You know, so that is where his thing came from. Candace Owens is another one. She was a Democrat, you know.
Okay.
She supported the Democratic Party and then she applied to be a senator or congresswoman or something and she didn't get through. She didn't have the qualifications. And she cursed them out the next day and turned Republican and was supporting Trump. And now she cursed out Trump. And she no longer supporting Trump. So Charlie Kirk is just a failure that decided that America was becoming too black and too brown, and he felt as though white people weren't having an equal chance because he was refused entry into West Point Academy, and he just became very bitter and became very anti-black and, you know, started talking all this nonsense and violence all over the place. Now he's being celebrated by the Christian right as some hero. I actually heard that guy on social media saying that Charlie Kirk died for his sins and all that. So they're going to make a little go out of him for a while. Right? His wife, with her fake tears, came out and have zero remorse for him. There are too many children in Gaza dying for me to feel anything for Charlie Kirk. You know, Charlie Kirk got what he deserved. He advocated violence. He said he believes in public executions, that people should be killed in public. And somebody took him out in public. Right? So he lived by the sword, he died by the sword, you know, so I have no love for Charlie Kirk, man.
Wow. Because I've been watching also how people, there are the persons who are saying, there are the Christians who are advocating that, you know, he was, how to put it, boy, they made it look as though he stood up for something. He spoke about it. He stood up for his truth. And he spoke his truth. And he died for his truth. And
You heard what he used to say?
Dad, I listened to that man. I made it my business to listen to this man.
Mr. President, the sums of property tax paid and collected as of May 2nd.
He spoke his hate.
Yeah.
That man hated everything. He hated Jews, he hated gays, he hated blacks, he hated Mexicans. I heard him calling a Chinese a chink, and they had to stop him. He was full of hate. That is all he was. You know, but he will be celebrated by the KKK and the Christian right and these skinheads and these types of people who believe America has been taken over, you know, by I heard him say that when America said give us your weak and give us your lame and give us your, they was talking about black people and brown people, they're talking about white people. Because America was actually founded by white Europeans and English people who flee in persecution in their respective country. So now that America has 350 million people, about 200 million are still white. America is still a white majority country. But by 2030, they're saying the whites will be in a minority. And that is the fear, because that has always been the fear for the past 100 years of the white man. Their immigration policy going to allow too many black and brown people into the country. But if you know the history of the United States of America, all of Texas and California, all of them was Mexico, right? All of them was Mexico, you know. So America, as we know, stole land from the American Indians, they stole land from the Mexicans. And the chickens coming home to roost, that's what Malcolm X said. Right, so eventually America will no longer be a white country. It will still continue to exist. And that is the inevitable end of any empire. And all those old empires are dying. France is in a sea. The French economy has basically collapsed because of what has taken place with Captain Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. He's cut off the lifeline to France because France has been stealing from Africa for 400 years. All right, Ghana shut off the chocolate and not the chocolate, the cocoa supply to Switzerland and Denmark, all these places who making Häagen-Dazs. They can't make a Häagen-Dazs, one Häagen-Dazs ice cream without getting cocoa from Ghana. And Ghana tried to renegotiate with them and they said, no, we're giving them some change for your cocoa. And they said, all right, goodbye, we're going to get other markets. And they had to recompromise and sit down. So these countries standing up against them now, and they have nothing because Europe never had anything. Europe got all what they had from stealing. And so we know that that would be the inevitable end. And Africa and these other nations that have been robbed and pillaged by these colonial powers, they are looking to China. The Africans are welcoming China. And China building roads and infrastructure. They'll end up in debt to China too, but at least they're getting a better deal. They're getting development and stuff from these other countries. Whereas France and they wasn't doing anything for Africa. They're just stealing the resources. You know? So the world will be a very different place in 100 years, 200 years. You know? It's inevitable.
Wow. And what are your thoughts about the American economy? We're seeing where it has they don't have any money to pay bills.
Well, again, from Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, Rome, and even Assyria, Egypt, Babylon, Medo-Persia, which is Iran and Iraq, Greece, Rome, coming through the ages, we've seen that empires usually last about 300 to 400 years. There's no empire that lasted more than 450 years. They all collapsed within 300 to 400 years, all of them. All right, and America is right from 1776, the American Constitution, 1876, 1976, 1976, 300 years. But America has been in the making for about 400 years, so America is entering a 400-year of existence. America is coming to an end. It's coming to an end. It's evident. They have terrible roads, the infrastructure, the bridges. When last have you been on the subway in New York? It is the nastiest, most rat-infested place you could think about. The trains old and noisy. Whereas my daughter is in Japan, she said, Daddy, have a train here. They have a bullet train here. The train going 300 miles per hour. She said, Daddy, when you sit in the train, you have no idea that the train is moving. It's like you are just sitting in the train. She said, whereas if you look outside, it's just a blur. Right? These countries moving ahead because they have had hundreds of years of peace since 1945 with Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The Japanese have been rebuilding. All right? They've been rebuilding for almost 100 years. Like in 2045, they'll have 100 years of rebuilding. The Chinese have not been on a war for hundreds of years. So China has taken off and left everybody. The car industry now, BYD and all of that is China. The infrastructure, the roads, the bridges, you know, the taxis, the robo-taxis, the way that they do their cashless society. America is way behind. Everything is crumbling in America because they've used all their money to be a superpower and to make nuclear weapons and to make the best jets and F-35s and B-52s and the fleets and the submarines and all of that. But now the Chinese are developing a new kind of warfare now where you don't need conventional weapons. Right? They could just hit you with an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, and take out all the electronics on your submarine, and that is it. They can't use it again. So the idea of having a big super army and tanks and all of that coming to an end. And America will be dead last. Dead last. I give America less than 100 years. Because by 2030, America will be second to China in economics. As China will be the richest country in the world by 2030. They already are, but technically. And militarily, China would overtake them. So the age of the superpowers and America versus Russia and these European countries and NATO and all of that screeching and steady on. The next world power will be Asia, and they'll be there for a long time.
Wow.
Yep.
So what we know it to be back in what we were expecting back in old time, it is changing. The changing of the guards is happening.
Yeah, and remember the Bible interpretations that we have did not anticipate China or Asia or Korea or Japan. They not mentioned, they not recognize in the Bible. The interpretations we have is that this beast in Revelation 13 and all that is America. Those are the Western Judeo-Christian hermeneutical interpretations of the Bible. That's the interpretations we have. That Jesus Christ is going to come in the time of America.
Yes,
all right?
yeah.
But we are seeing that homeboy like he create the comeback. And America just losing it. And China was not in the sights of the interpreters of the Bible. Show me one text in Revelation that mentions China.
None.
Or anything resembling China. Nothing. Nothing. Show me one text in the book of Revelation or Daniel that even hints at anything resembling North Korea or South Korea. South Korea giving us all the Hyundai vehicles, all the Kia vehicles. They're giving us the Samsung phone, right? They're giving us everything. Japan giving us Toyota, all the best vehicles, the best technology. America can't even make a good CD player, much less a good MP3 player, right? So nobody anticipated Asia because at the time when these people were writing their interpretation of Revelation and all that, these Asian countries were nothing. The Chinese were suffering, they were poor. North Korea and South Korea was fighting up to 1950 to 1955 there. So nobody anticipated Asia rising. But in a very short time, Dubai, show me what text I could find in the Bible that mentions Dubai by the wildest stretch of the imagination. Nothing in the Middle East and nothing in the East of the East is mentioned in the Bible. It's America, 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 America. In the time of America, the Americans and the Jews and the Americans and the Jews and the Americans and the Jews. That is the era we came up in, but we are living to see the end of those empires, and China is rising. South Korea is rising. Japan is rising. All right? And that is where the world, Africa is rising too. Right? So the prophecies will fail. All those prophecies. I said that years ago. I said all these prophecies you have in America, Jesus will come in the time of America. Well, nonsense. It's happening. Forget it happening. Forget about it. Not happening. Jesus will come in no way. Right? And China will ascend. China will be the leading country militarily and economically. Right? Followed by South Korea and Japan. And the new wealth capital of the world will be in the East and the Middle East. It's Dubai, Saudi Arabia, China, the Koreans, North and South, Japan, India rising fast, Africa, America and Israel are the last word. Them on life support.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. And we can't go back now. We cannot go back now and redo the prophecies. We just have to say that the prophecies failed. And instead of false prophet there, right? Fire burn all of them false prophets. All of them were wrong. So they're arrogant. And the time of their ascendancy and in the time of their power, they thought that they were the only thing on the face of the earth. And God had to move during their time. You know, the Babylonian kings thought the same thing, and God addressed that in Isaiah 14. He said, you have corrupted your wisdom by reason of your brightness, because you're the number one nation in the world, and you are the number one superpower in the world. You believe that God has to bow to you, but God will bring it down. And all those powers fell. Assyria fell, Egypt fell, right? Babylon fell, Iraq is ancient. Babylon is ancient Iraq. Then Persia, Iran, they fell. And then Greece came and Hellenization, and we have to teach the whole world to talk Greek and all of that. And they lost for 300 years, and they fell to Rome. And then Rome came, and Constantine came, and Roman Catholicism and all of that, and then they fell. Right? And then America rose now. and became really big, and every nation during their heyday said that it would end, the world would end in their time. And a Greek god would come during the time of Greece, and a Roman god would come in the time of Rome, and an Iranian god, Zoroaster, would come in the time of the Iranians, and an Iraqi god, Nebuchadnezzar, would come in the time of the, and in Egypt, Ra would come in the time. All of them, it's a common thing. All right? Until they fall, and another nation takes their place. And America is falling hard and fast.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Jesus has to come in the time of the United States of America when they're number one. They're number one now, but they're number one-ish. Because they're failing all the infrastructure. And America don't have time to build a good train. They don't have time to build a good car. I'm a good car, America. I saw this car recently on BYD. Build your dreams. Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Them Chinese don't speak. That car sweet. Build your dreams, BYD. The car going over humps and ain't feeling anything. Right? America don't have time for that. They're only building more planes and more bombs because they have to retain the number one position in the world. They have to police the world. How long they do that?
Interesting. Interesting. We take about 2 more calls before you leave, Daddy.
No problem.
All right, we take 2 more calls before Dad leave. 464-7003, 464-7003. And it's always interesting to hear Dad's worldview. Worldview.
Yeah, I mean, that's my area of expertise. I've been studying this for the past 30 years. So, and I've been observing it. And I've always tried to maintain a cutting-edge view of things, and I've always wondered, I say, but if Jesus do come really fast and finish this thing during the time of America, China, them get a chance to write. China is an atheist country, China don't believe in God, The Chinese and the Russians and the Koreans and them, they believe in no God, They say man is God, you read the confusion. And America condemn them for that and say God will do what this and God will do that. No, we live it to see a different thing. Right? So when China become the leading country militarily and economically on the planet, right? Then, and they don't believe in God. You're talking about there are 2 billion people who are atheists. And they running the planet, my brother.
All right, let's take this call. Hello, good evening.
Huh?
We have a caller. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. All right, let's take this other call. Hello. All right, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
You need to load on your television, though, or your computer, whatever you're listening on.
Load on the television. Hello?
Hi, hello.
Yes. The dragon deal that everybody's on now, could it be just a writing from this grandparent bill that came out and I just wanted to find out. The dragon deal.
So you think it's a distraction from the grandparent bill?
From the grandparent bill?
Well, I don't know that America Maduro and the what's his name? Forget the man's name now. Would be with Pat now with the US with Trinidad and Tobago to distract us from that bill.
No, what I meant is that our people are so onto this bill. That eventually it could be, that will solve itself out. That will fix itself eventually. Yes, we will talk about it. But the grandmother bill, to me, was something that will more affect us quietly. In a way, I don't know if it makes sense.
All right, let's hear what Dad have to say. Dad, what you think?
Okay. What is she asking?
All right, so there is a grandmother bill where if you
It's not grandmother, not the grandmother bill.
what it is?
It's the Constitution Amendment Citizenship Bill.
Well, let's call it the
But
grandmother
they just
bill.
call it the grandparent. They
Bill.
just call it the grandparent.
Yeah. She's saying that she thinks that is more important than the dragon gas situation.
Well, I think those are two separate issues. Those are two separate issues. One has to do with the future of our economy and our ability to basically pay our bills and run this country through the dragon gas deal. And the other one has to do with Section 17.3 of the Constitution, Section 5 of the Citizenship Act, which formally only allows second-generation descendants, children of citizens born abroad, to be eligible for citizenship by descent. And the new bill now allows for citizenship by descent through a grandparent who was a citizen at the time of the applicant's birth. All right, so those are two separate issues. All right, but naturally one would broaden the scope of who can be a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago tremendously. All right, people with Guyanese grandparents or whatever, or a grandparent who was born in Trinidad at the time the person applied. If I have a grandparent who is Trinidadian, then I can apply for citizenship. So more people could be citizens. And that may have to do something with, I guess it may be a long shot at voter pardon or making sure that more people vote for this party because people can trace their lineage back to Trinidadian grandparents, which is a totally different decision than the dragon gas deal. So I don't know that I could bring the two together or say one is a distraction of the other because there's no proximity between the two. One has to do with citizenship and the other one has to do with economics.
Okay, we have a call on the line. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, Pastor. I just want to ask Pastor Mackenzie a question, but it's not related to the topic on Venezuela. It's something about law, but on a current issue. So I don't know if I can get the permission to go ahead, but I will ask. My question is this, right? Pastor Mackenzie, are using fictitious names. I'm not going to use actual names, fictitious names, right? But if a state convict, right, a state convict got permission earlier this year, right, from a high court to pursue a judicial review against the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, right, in delay in filing an indictment against him and co-accused of murder, right, to stand trial since 2020, right? What that indictment really means? What does it? What is he asking the DDP for? What is he going to ask the DDP for? What is, and understand the delay of the case, right? The delay of the case. I understand that. But then again, the same convict was removed, right, from prison and went to another area, right? So does this now, he went to a secluded area where nobody knows, but still he won a judgment where he could have asked what was going on, the delay of his case, right? But so far in the public domain, we haven't heard nothing. If this man could go forth and ask about the delay, because he got permission from a high court judge to file about an indictment about the delay from the DDP. So I'm asking, is it void now? Is that eradicated from the legal system? Is he just gets suppressed? Is that a deprivation of his constitutional rights? I just asking for a friend. Thanks very much. Have a good night.
All right, so I think I know who you're speaking about when you murder accused, but for obvious reasons, we won't call the person's name. All right, and he applied to the High Court, as this is right, for judicial review of an action by the DPP based on a judicial review as to whether his constitutional rights was violated. Now, anybody could do that. Anybody, it matters not that he's a former murder accused. It doesn't deprive him of his right to go to the High Court and say, here, well, the DPP sanctioned some moves there. They moved me from here and they put me here. And constitutionally, the Constitution says, or the Act says, that if I am arrested and I'm accused or whatever of something, then I'm supposed to be placed in facility A and facility B. They moved me from facility A and they took me to facility C. And I am saying that my rights was violated because facility C is not a prison in the Prison Act or in the under whatever act. It does not have the facilities, it does not have the wherewithal to hold prisoners. So I'm not supposed to be housed there. I'm housed in the wrong place. And as such, my rights are being violated. So I want to go to the court and apply to have a judge look at the action of the DPP in moving me from A to B and see if my constitutional rights or my legal rights were infringed. You know, he might get you. He might get you. He might get you. No, we are saying that this move was done during a state of emergency. Now, under a state of emergency, the state has certain powers, or they have modified powers, and certain rights of the individuals can be violated. For instance, in a state of emergency, a police could come and kick down your door and say, we come to search you. And they don't have to really present you with a search warrant. They could say, we got information and so on, so in a state of emergency. Whereas if it's not a state of emergency, they'll have to come, call the night, so and so. We have a warrant, and they don't have to do that under a state of emergency. Basically, your rights as a citizen are suspended. Some rights, not all. Right? Some rights are suspended. So the question that the court have to answer is whether under the state of emergency, a proper balance was struck between the right of the prisoner to be housed in a particular prison as opposed to the right of the state to put them anywhere they wanted to put them for national security. That's the question the court will have to ask. But he could get you. He might well get you. Do you remember during COVID, right? Our freedom of movement was restricted. We had to stand 6 feet behind the person in front of us, a certain amount behind the person. We couldn't go certain places. They closed all the discos. A lot of places like Club 51 and Zen and all of them suffered up to this day. Right? We couldn't go. Our freedom of movement was restricted in this country. And Section 13 allows for that. Section 13, Section 3, when you look at 4, 5, 13 and 23 of the Constitution, it allows for the abrogation of certain rights. So you have to look at that lawsuit caller in the context of us being under a state of emergency and the state exercising its right to move certain men from a particular facility who they thought to have good reason to believe pose a threat to certain high-ranking officers within the country and could be a threat to the national security of the country, to put them in a foul pen. Alright, so the man asks for judicial review of that action. So yeah, that could happen. And he might win too. The way this thing goes, because the two people who applied for judicial review of their constitutional rights being violated under COVID, they hired an Anram Logan and they win their case. Right? I think Justice Ronnie Budusing and others, and Justice Nolan Duro and others, they agreed with the claimants that their rights were violated, and even though we had a COVID pandemic, they wanted to re-enter their country, and you cannot deny a citizen their right to re-enter their country. That is why I say that the applicant might win in this case. I hope I've answered their questions.
All right, we have two callers holding. Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening, Pastor Tobago.
Hi, good evening, ma'am.
Right. Good evening, Philip Father. Dear, I just want to ask him one question. These people who in Israel right now, like Netanyahu and they're not even European, they are not original Jews. If you could expand on that for me. If they are Europeans or if they are the original Jews. Because I don't feel them as the original Jews.
I want you to go on Google and look up the word Ashkenazi. A-S-H-K-E-N-A.
He's spelling it out for you.
Yes, no. Let me hang up and I'll get it.
Okay then.
Yeah.
What she said?
She's hanging up and she's going to listen off air to get the spelling.
Alright, the spelling is
A-S-H. to write it.
Go ahead.
A-S-H like Ash.
Right.
K-E-N. And A-Z-I. Ashkenazi Jews. Alright, so look up Ashkenazi Jewish ancestry or Ashkenazi Jewish descent, and you will see that these people, Benjamin Netanyahu, and they aren't original Jews at all.
All right. Hello, good evening.
Yes, Mr. Pastor. Hey, thank you, Daddy. Let me thank you, Daddy, for educating the people prophetically. Thank you very much, sir. And one thing I have to say to back up what you've been saying to the nation, all the foundations of the earth is off course. There's only one foundation that's steady, and that is the foundation of Jesus Christ. Thank you, sir.
I like that. Yeah. I like that. I love that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that is the kind of thing you like. Yeah, that is the kind of thing you like.
I must like that. Fire burn all of them. Like that, I will live to see fire burn all of them. Fire burn all of them. Catholic and don't let me start. Huh?
Nah, don't start. Don't start.
Okay.
Don't start.
Fire
Please.
burn all of them.
Please don't start. Right? A man called the other day, had to pay many place because you talk about opening up leg. He want to feel he could come and talk about opening up leg. I had to stop him in the tracks. And you know the man turn and say, you know the man turn and say, he say, but your father say it. I say, yeah, but I talked to him about it. I said, but who is this boy? The man ready to blaze, you know. So I don't know. So we wait to see the outcome of this situation with Miss Sasa Maduro. I want to see. I want to see. I want to see Miss what your name?
Who's that?
Munilal. Dr. Munilal.
Yeah.
I want to see Dr. Munilal around a table with Rodriguez. After all the things Dr. Munilal say about Miss Rodriguez, I want to see him sitting around a table talking to Miss Rodriguez.
Brother, Trinidad and Tobago is not easy country to run.
Mr. Manning say that? When he said it, people thought he was joking.
President Maxwell, my president, right? Maxwell said, sometimes I feel like I'm living in two countries.
Who said that?
Is a profound.
Who said that?
Maxwell, former President Maxwell.
Oh, Maxwell Richard.
Maxwell Richard. He said, sometimes I feel like I am living in two countries. Know what you mean by that?
No, I don't.
You want me to explain that?
Yes.
Sometimes I feel like I am living in two countries. Meaning, while being a Trinidadian, living in Trinidad, the racial divide is so strong. You feel like you're living in Africa and India simultaneously. Happens every election time. The racial divide is so strong and so pronounced, you feel as though you're living in two countries. Because there's one political view that is specifically and uniquely Indian and UNC, and the other one is uniquely African and Indian. I feel as though we're living in three countries. Because to me, there are three political entities in Trinidad and Tobago. UNC and the Indian population, the African population and the PNM population, and Tobago. Tobago is a whole different kettle of saltfish. Them different way. Politically, them have their own sauce. Make it over there in Tobago, you know, when they're ready. Them is PNM, when they're ready, there's UNC, when they're ready, there's none of the above it. So even though we are Trinidad and Tobago, we are Twin Island Republic, we have three different set of politics going on. The politics of Tobago and Tobagonians, with the who's the fella over there, not the young fella?
Fali.
Politics of Tobago.
Fali.
Yeah, Fali. They have their own politics going over there with their Fali and their boat race and their Duke and thing. And then the Indians in Trinidad have the politics where they support their UNC. And then the Africans with the support for the PNM. And then it have all those who mix up in between and ready to swing anyway. You know, it's quite interesting. So I always remember what Maxwell Richard said. Sometimes I feel as though I'm living in two countries. And Patrick said, Trinidad and Tobago is a difficult country to go. Difficult country.
And
I think for the most part,
my president, or the president who I used to like to listen to and get my kicks, you used to say, the powers you think I have, I do have. And the powers you think I do have. He talking you know who talking like he? Alexander.
Who's that?
Alexander.
Oh, okay.
He made a statement. Kamonas made a statement. He said these armchair politicians who sitting down in their bars and in their home with the armchair and feel that they can make decisions. Boy.
Armchair politicians.
Yeah, these armchair politicians. I think we have a foreign caller who have been trying to call for the longest while. Hello, good evening.
Hey, good evening. How are you doing?
I am okay. How are you?
I'm quite alright, man.
What part of the world are you calling us from?
Run that again?
What part of the world are you calling us from?
I'm just up to the north, not far.
Where that is?
That's a 473 area code, eh? Country code. Grenada.
Grenada. So we have a caller from Grenada, that.
Yeah, I hope, I'm asking him now. I hope that he been giving you the information that I've been sending from time to time to you through him. Being a lawyer, and I like listening to you. So when you're on, you have to have a strong case when you're talking about on issues, and you normally do. So that's why, from time to time I would send things to Pastor Google for you.
Okay.
As it relates, you were saying something?
No, you just say okay.
No, I'm listening. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's deal with the issue of the Prime Minister, the way she behaves, and in relation to what Pastor Google, what your dad said that I cannot see.
Yeah. You can't say it.
No, I can't say it.
No.
The Prime Minister is behaving in that manner. I even look at the opening of the speech that was in the what do you call it? The one they had recently, the
UN.
And she got on there and she behaving as though she is Melania, because she talking about the escalator working now and teleprompter working now, as though she was standing in front of the escalator. I don't understand what's going on with her. So that's one issue with her. And Pastor Gugu, I think you might remember that I told you they're after the dragon gas. What they do is that they get the people to come out and say something first. They're testing the waters. basically it's like a forerunner. You know,
Right.
that's how they do things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And she intended it to make it a joke when she talked about the teleprompter and thing. You know, I took it as I don't know how to put it, you know, but it was an insult to Trinidad and Tobago to be taking that stand.
Well,
you know.
Well, I can tell you what she was referring to. What happened is that Donald Trump and his wife were recently at the United Nations. And when Donald Trump and his wife were attempting to use the escalator, it stopped working. It stopped working, and the First Lady had to walk up the escalator. And Donald Trump had to walk up behind her at the UN, that same escalator at the UN. And when Donald Trump went to use the teleprompter, he began complaining that the person who is handling the teleprompter isn't handling it well. And it so turned out that it was an American that was handling it because he was having problems with the teleprompter. So when Kamala came, she sought to make a light joke about the teleprompter working when she's using it and the escalator working when she's using it. As though, well, you know, something was wrong with Trump. It wasn't working with him, but it's working with her. She tried to make a joke, but it didn't come off. And yeah, that is what that was.
Okay. The one thing that I know you talk about religions a while ago, and you mentioned churches, but I think more churches have been built in Russia and immediate surroundings related to Russia itself during the time of Vladimir Putin than any other time. Christian churches I'm talking about. So we may have a little difference in opinion when it comes to that, but almost everything else, that's why I didn't call before, because almost everything else that you would talk about, that's the exact view I have on those issues. Now, regarding the Dragon gas deal, we have to be careful how we handle this thing. Venezuelans are Venezuelans. The oil and gas belongs to Venezuela. And the people of Venezuela, I'm not talking about just the politicians. They're looking, they're listening, and they're learning from what we're doing and saying. And I think the recklessness that I've seen with regards to this very same Prime Minister and others around her, because the Venezuelans are there and they're not saying anything, that doesn't mean that they're approving of what is going on, because they want the benefits of their resources. So that's something that we have to be very, very careful about.
Yes. Right. So
All right.
To the caller, I just want to mention Francis Alexander Prince Counsel. He was my lecturer in criminal law in my Masters of Public Law program at the University of the West Indies. He's one of the wisest men I've ever encountered. Very, very bright, very lucid attorney. He's a Queen's Counsel and he hails from Grenada. So I just wanted to mention his name as we had this caller from Grenada. Grenada has really put out some good legal luminaries. You know? Some very, 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 very smart people.
Well, I just want to let you know he is one of many listeners and viewers from Grenada.
To Francis Alexander?
No. The caller.
Oh, the caller. Okay. But the caller will know exactly who I'm talking to. Grenada is a small place, so he will know Dr. Francis Alexander, Queen's Counsel. Very, 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 very sharp, legal mind.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, somebody said I started to scratch my head. Yeah, but anytime you see certain discussions going a certain way, I know how my old man was thinking. You know, he just get glad and just want to say certain things that might get me in problems. Well, they don't know the man, though. I know the man, though. I know. You see, I know this man. Only don't know. So when I start to scratch my head, it's because I don't want to be in problems.
My own be a problem. You won't be a problem, so have some faith in your own man.
Look how look how I keep you on for a good 3 hours, boy, and you even feel it.
Yeah, no problem. The caller mentioned churches in Russia, but the Russians have a problem with the Jehovah's Witnesses.
You have a problem with the Jehovah's Witnesses?
What? I would like the caller to do some research on that. They see the Jehovah's Witnesses as a cult. Number one. Number two, Jehovah's Witnesses don't vote. So Vladimir Putin have a problem with that. They don't vote because they don't recognize earthly kingdoms as God's kingdom. They wait for God's kingdom. So they don't vote. And Vladimir have a problem with that. So he shut them down a lot. He has closed down the churches and take over there. The other churches he don't mind because they vote, but the Jehovah's Witnesses, they come in the country and they want to multiply with these what is it? Let's call it the one temple or something that's called the churches. Right? And they don't vote. So Vladimir over there, he shut them down bad. Bad, just persecute them bad, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, check out that. Go on Google and just Google Jehovah's Witnesses in Russia and you'll see.
He's saying
he does wrong them out and run them out of Russia.
You know, there's
but they don't want to vote.
But there is this person on the YouTube live who is saying that that there is freedom of religion in Russia, and he's trying to make it appear as though that I don't know. And he's saying that he's making it appear as though I don't know. He need to call in, or he need to let us know if he from Russia, because he's saying that I don't is you know I don't know if he's trying to say that there's Jehovah's Witnesses are free to operate there. I don't know.
No. Let do this research. Let do proper research, and you'll see. Jehovah's Witnesses, they have had multiple instances of persecution over there. They don't vote here. You never listen. Most Jehovah's Witnesses who in front of your house on a Sunday morning are black people here. When I see an Indian Jehovah's Witness, it's mostly black people with an umbrella harassing you on a Sunday morning. When they come here, they say their head out. And when I ask them if they're voting, they say, no, we are children of the kingdom. We don't vote for earthly kingdoms. You know how many Jehovah's Witnesses have in Trinidad?
How much?
Plenty. More than 20,000.
Wow.
Right? And they're all black. If PNM can get the vote of the Jehovah's Witnesses, you will never see win another election. But they don't vote. They don't vote because they're living for this kingdom. They come in front of my house and they like to drink rum. Always asking me for a beer. Them funny and there's go party. You know? Jehovah's Witnesses, they go in party, they drinking beer, but they don't vote. They drink their alcohol and drink. And they like shadow, the mighty shadow. I don't know why they like shadow.
Oh my God! Hey, you. I think it's time. I think it's time for you to go and sleep. I feel it's time for you to go and sleep.
I could go all night. When they come in front of my house, I just have them hopping in. You don't give blood. You're not voting. But you're drinking alcohol and you're going party. I don't know, man. I'm very confused.
And
but Russia, Vladimir, they have them hopping over there.
So there are churches in Russia.
There are Jehovah's Witness churches in Russia, but there's got a hard time from the Russian regime.
But there are other churches in Russia.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there's somebody on the line is saying that there is no somebody saying what
Let me read for you. Forget what I'm saying. Let me read for you. I'm telling you this going
All right, just hold on that. Let me take this call. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Good night.
Hi, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good night to you, Dad.
Good night, sir.
I know you have so much topics to talk about, but I know that your dad was talking about the leadership of the PNM, and he prefer Mrs. Penelope Beckers, right?
Say that again?
So I just want to that he preferred the leadership of Penelope Beckers, right? Correct?
If he said he prefers the leadership of Penelope Beckers?
Yeah.
But there's nobody else offered themselves?
Okay. No, I'm not talking about, but
no. I'm trying to understand this. It's not that he prefers the leadership. If somebody else had offered himself, if MP Young had offered himself, if Senator Stuart Young Cummins had, I could understand that, but the only person who offered themselves to lead the PNM was Ms. Beckles.
Okay. Right. Well, here was going, right? There's a school of thought among some of the PNM members that.
I'm not hearing you. What's that?
Okay, there's a school of thought going about that only an African person could lead the PNM. So, what that means for the other persons who probably of mixed descent, who is non-African or who's of African descent.
But there are people, but there's a school of thought in the UNC that only an East Indian could lead the UNC. Not because there is that school of thought means that is the overall view.
Okay, but I just want to hear what your dad said because.
All right, he will tell you what you think.
Because we have what they call what you say a mixed population who's probably neither black or who's neither Indian. We have Douglas.
Why didn't they vote? Why didn't they vote for MP Young?
Well, like I said, I want to hear what your dad has to say.
No, I'm asking you. You see, you're saying, okay, so the opportunity was given to them to vote for somebody who is not of African descent, right?
Right.
In the PNM. Why didn't they vote for him?
Well, that's a very interesting question too, because they say one of the factors that the PNM lost is because people have a problem with Mr. Sturgeon, that he is even as 1%. Which is very paradoxical because he is of mixed Chinese and Indian descent.
All right, but listen to this. Right? No. Listen, you're going off. You're going off. Hear what you're saying to me. You said to me that there is a percentage of PNM people or black people who are saying that they did not vote or they don't want a non-African running the PNM party, right?
Right.
I said to you that there is also a demographic or percentage of East Indian people who saying that there is only they only want an East Indian to run the UNC party. Now we saw that when Ms. Bissessa left Jolene John as the acting prime minister. If you were looking on social media and some of the nasty comments that were made by some East Indian people, you understand the mindset of how they feel about Ms. Jolene John acting as prime minister. Right? So it's across the board. But my question to you was that, okay, you're saying that there is a demographic of people who don't care about African or East Indian. They are mixed. I am asking you, why didn't those persons come out and vote for Minister Young?
That's a very good question too, and this is my theory, because they probably see Mr. Young as probably closely associated with Dr. Rowley, and perhaps they have an issue with Dr. Rowley because Dr. Rowley is the blackest man in the PNM party.
Dr. Rowley is the blackest man in the PNM party?
Well, I don't know, but there's a trend up. But what I've been noticing in certain platforms, right, Pastor Google, I noticed that there seems to be a divide between Stuart Young supporters in the PNM and Penelope Beckers. Apparently, this riff is very apparent on some of the platform, and I think.
How is it? Which platform are you talking about? What platform are you talking about?
Well, I'll give you one thing. Well, I assume that you know, I think I know Miss Jenny, right?
Yeah, but what platform? You're saying platform because up to today, Minister Young MP Young, sorry, was on a platform with the opposition leader. Okay. What platform you talking about?
Well, like I say again, Pastor Google, there are some so-called PNM platforms.
What platform? I'm asking you what platform so that I can address it or I can say to you if what you're saying is the truth or not. What platform?
Wasn't there any platform that Mr. Phyllis Warrior used to be, Phyllis Warrior used to be with?
So that is not a PNM platform? I used to be on that platform.
Oh.
That's not a PNM platform?
Okay. But this is my opinion. I noticed that they still have the so-called divide between.
Who have the divide? Is it Minister Young? Wait, just now. Is it Minister Young have a divide, or is it that there are people just like when Mr. Manning moved away from the PNM? There was up to today there are still Manningites. There will always be that there are Mackenzie'ites. There will always be people for people.
All right. Well, like I said again, I just hope these things are done.
No, those things will never change. That's life, sir. That is life. Those things will never change. What do you want change? You want that people will everybody will just be for penny. Everybody. No, that will never happen. There are some people. My dad said he likes who you like there, Dad? What the man name again?
What are you talking about?
The leadership, Amory Brown.
Yeah, I like Amory too.
Dad love Amory. There are people who love Amory Brown. There are people who want Amory Brown to be political leader of the PNM. There's a fraction, a huge fraction of people who had believed that if Foster Cummins had won his seat, he was going to be the leader of the PNM. So I don't understand where you're going with that, caller. There's fractions in every organization. Even in the Bible, my dad could tell you that in the Bible, didn't Paul and they had an argument about people who saying I for Paul, I for Fisher, I for Fishers, I for this one, I for that one?
Yeah.
There will always be people for certain people. So I'm trying to understand while you are sitting and saying that there is that platform. You know what I want you to watch at? You know why when I would agree with you that X, Y, and Z is if Minister Young, when Miss Penny asked him to come and talk on the opposition press conference, and he said no, and you're not seeing him nowhere on the opposition thing. I could understand you saying, but why is MP Young not at any of the press conferences? There is a fraction. I can understand you having a problem with Miss Beckles not inviting MP Young to be on any of the thing. When they were supposed to have a meeting at MP Young's constituency, what happened, sir? You don't know what happened? Let me tell you what happened. He had eye surgery. You remember that?
Yeah.
So there were the bacchanalists who just be on a live saying, they're shunning MP Young and they don't want to come by MP Young constituency, and he had to do a press release saying, hey, it's not that I have went through eye surgery and I will be out of compliance. So you have to watch, sir, who are the bacchanalists and who are the people you're listening to who creating an issue and bacchanal. Because if MP Young had an issue, he would have never been on the press conference today.
And that's important too. I just hope that whatever issue that is in them house.
You see, you keep saying issues. You keep saying they have issues, but you're seeing them in the public together. When I go to the press conference, the way how Speckles and Mr. Young must be choking each other, laughing, making fun, I don't know what issues you seeing or hearing. Who you hearing these issues from?
No, I'm
asking you. If I sitting down in the press conference and I watching Miss Beckles and MP Young laughing and making joke and choking each other and who poking fun at me if they feel like jumping asleep in the press conference and all them kind of thing. I am asking you. My head might be down and them feel I sleeping because my head down in my phone. And I see them in the back up in the side of my eye laughing at me. The both of them. What issue?
No, I see where you're coming from, Pastor Google.
Who created the issue? You have to watch out who creating the issue.
Yeah. Yeah, true that.
And my thing is the same thing with Dr. Rowley and Mr. Manning. And Mr. Manning, what Mr. Manning had to do, not step back and allow allow Dr. Rowley to go forward, and then later down in the time frame, you saw where people started to accept Dr. Rowley and say, okay, well, all right, Mr. Manning, step aside. Isn't that what happened?
Yeah, true that.
Somebody. All right, sir.
All right, well, good night.
All right. Dad, we have to see. What did I said anything wrong?
No, you were right. You're right. I think the caller had a few things mixed up there.
Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening. You hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Second time caller, calling from Pretty Valley.
Right.
People watching too much of Jenny live, right? P&M is one party, and she have a division in her. When she keeps she live, she always on penny, right? And that's what it's about. It's about uniting P&M, not about you saying this about the political leader and another political leader. It's not about that. We have to have one front, one mind, one goal, one vision, uniting all under P&M. So when you want to watch other people live and take it like that is wrong, because she has her own agenda against political leader. But in my view, I see Stuart Young and Penelope Butters together. So I don't know what she can out of that. But people must stop letting people divide us. It's one P&M, not 3 and 4 P&M. One. And we all have to come under the banner of one. That's all I have to say. Have a pleasant good night.
Thank you very much. Hello, good evening. A man come on, we can pants nest, do we? We look at the close off. We look at the close of the program. This man, we can pants nest. Yes, hello, good evening.
Good evening, Pastor Google. Good evening, Pastor Mackenzie. Pastor Google, give yourself a round of applause. You didn't get the applause thing yet?
I ain't get it yet.
Give yourself. You have to give yourself a round of applause. I give you a round of applause tonight. You ramble. And you see, if people focus on just what you said there tonight, the P&M will be a lot better place, a lot better party. Because it's not any referendum, it's what people looking at and what they're hearing. And if you want to hear stupidness, and if you don't want to turn off your radio or switch on the next station, or go to somewhere else and listen to something positive, why you can't see two people together and they function normally and they're happy together and you can't see their group, but you listen to somebody else on some other station who says that, but you ain't seen one before you. I love what you said tonight, and I love what you are doing. Give yourself a round of applause. I'll go on, Pastor. Go.
Thank you very much. I don't believe leadership should address all those petty issues. You see, petty issues on he just wasn't given a fair chance based on his race. You see them things? I don't believe that they should address those things. Dr. Rowley used the same race card. Dr. Rowley said that people didn't like him. People said how he shouldn't be the leader of the PNM because he was too black. You can remember that, Dad?
Yeah.
Dr. Rowley stand up on a platform and everybody had to rally around Dr. Rowley.
What do you think about Kamala using Jolene John to act as Prime Minister?
There are most people say that was a master stroke because the perception and the perception and the theory out there is that the UNC fighting down black people and they don't like black people. Well, if I don't like black people and I'm fighting down black people, look at black acting Prime Minister.
It was a master political stroke.
When Ms. Beckles, and you know, again, I said this before, and there's some people who will never accept it, you know. People have a problem that Ms. Beckles would have chosen Ms. Jennifer Butti's Primus as a deputy political leader. She asked other persons. She would have asked other persons and they refused. And a political leader could change a deputy political leader anytime. And one of the reasons why I realized that Ms. Beckles would have chosen Ms. Primus also is because at the end of the day, Ms. Primus would not sit down and watch you do rubbish and let you do it. She will tell you you're doing nonsense.
She did it. She told Dr. Rowley. When she told Dr. Rowley wasn't doing the right thing, she spoke up.
She told him, but again, justifying. People want you to justify your actions. Justify, because a next lie that was put out in the public domain, and I asked the education officer of the PNM to come on the airwaves and clear it up. That is the only thing I want he clear up. You see that lie about when the members of parliament sign off as Ms. Beckles being the opposition leader, they should have gone to General Counsel for General Counsel to rectify it or to say yes or no. That is not in the constitution of the People's National Movement. The General Counsel do not have to. Say, well, yes, we agree with the MPs that this person should be opposition leader.
Right.
So, this, you see this, and that is the whole thing about this drama with this PNM. You know, they already.
You see that point the caller raised it brings us to focus what Maxwell Richards was saying. Sometimes I feel like I'm living in two countries. We living in a country where if the Indian party choose a black person, the black people feeling happy. Right? You know, she give a black woman a chance. Right? If the black party choose an Indian person because the tongue is half Chinese, half Korean, half black, half Indian. Right? Then, you see Dr. Rowley, he like Indian people, look, he give an Indian person a chance. It's a kind of petty childishness, like, you know, it's my turn, and it's a turn, and it's your turn to get it on that. And that's why people say, Kamala put in John, there was a master political show.
Yeah, there are people who at least say that.
It would silence all the people who feel Kamala only like Indian, but it's a long time Kamala choosing black people. Kamala choosing black people, John Jarvie.
Look what she do with Jack Warner. Look, they can't find Jack Warner extradition papers. Only leave me alone in this nonsense. Leave me in nonsense now. But that is how the cookie crumble. And you will have to.
Long time.
Yeah, you have to.
Long time.
Yeah.
You know, it's who from the PNM is Kamala. Right? So it's long time. And the Hindu community said they weren't supporting Kamala in this last election. The Sanatan Dharma Mahasabha. Guys, Satmar people and them say they're not supporting Kamala because she have abandoned the Hindu community because they find she choosing too many Africans. So now they're just giving like little children.
And what you said is very true, because there's a clip with the pundit, the head pundit saying that she didn't give any East Indian people any jobs when she didn't have 5 years tender.
Like little children. And when she put Jolene John there, she followed more of those people, those Indian people who find a black woman should be attacked as deputy prime minister. So she would have lost the vote of those who have that view, and she would have gained the votes of plenty African people who say, you see, I'm not like black people.
Yeah, there's a whole video with a of an African woman saying that. Let's take this last call. Hello, good evening.
Yes, Pastor. Good night. Pastor, I want to ask you on your dad this question, right? Before Dr. Rowley announced his resignation and everything, right? Remember last year we were supposed to have, was it a internal election or something? Last year around October, and they cancelled. What was that they cancelled?
Yeah, but no, but that internal elections has not had nothing to do with a political leader. There were 3 positions that was not up for grabs at that internal elections. Political leader was one, general secretary was one, and somebody else. I can't remember right now. What is the question you want to ask?
No, I thought that I always was under the impression.
That's another lie. That's another lie that they put out there to fool and confuse people.
I thought that was the reason why we would have been in this predicament.
Nah, that's not the reason. That's not the reason why. So that's our next lie.
Because as you could see, people are using devices, systematic devices right now, and they're just splitting up the party, going easily. But as you could see, also it's for their own benefit. And by doing this, we are giving the government or the other party, which is the UNC, a very good advantage because they're watching on and they're observing what's going on because they are not telling you what is happening. To me, sometimes I believe it could very well have infiltration of PNM members who are UNC's people right now. Sometimes I believe so, walking down that path. Anyhow, Pastor, your contribution just now was very good. Have a good night.
Thank you very much. You ready to wrap up? Huh?
All my son's contribution. Is I ready to wrap up?
Wait, did you want to say that?
Is I ready to wrap up? I'm going until 3 o'clock.
No, what did you say just now there?
All my son's contributions are the contributions. The callers.
I feel
very good contribution.
I feel you better be a politician.
Well, everybody is telling me that I'm a final caller.
Yeah, I feel so. I feel so.
But I don't know how long I'll last in the parliament. I can't be an MP. I'll be a senator or something.
You want to?
Because I go fight in that parliament. You see how in certain parliaments in Indonesia and then men does the fighting of it. You ever see those fights in parliament?
Yeah.
In Indonesia, thing?
Yeah.
Man diving over a bench and coughing man in the head and thing. Yeah. I go run up on somebody just.
Oh man. So that caller that would have shared that information, that was misinformation, and you know, somebody's asking me if there's any mark that Ms. Jennifer Butti's Primus would have bossed about the internal elections. No, what Ms. Primus was asking for was a convention. There's a difference between
according to the Constitution.
According to the Constitution, the PNM was supposed to go into a convention.
She was right. She was correct.
And Dr. Rowley and they did not want to go into a convention, not a election, not internal elections. And Ms. Butti's Primus and they knew that the leadership, there was no internal elections for a leader. That's why Dr. Rowley stayed on and he handed over the position of Prime Minister. He resigned as Prime Minister and hand over the reins to Minister Young, right? And there are people who were not happy. There were people who were not happy with the way that was handled.
I was one.
Right? So the thing about it is Miss Primus would have made her and one of these days I'm going to get Miss Primus on the phone and let her clarify that.
You remember Primus came to my church?
Say that again?
You remember Jennifer came to my church?
You're breaking up there, Dad.
Do you remember Jennifer Baptiste Primus came to my church?
Yeah.
She was coming $5 every week. After she heard me praying for and stuff, she's a solid woman and she's a trade unionist. So she understands the discipline of internal constitutions, and she was saying there ought to be a convention.
That is what she was fighting for.
I understood that clearly and I supported her 100%.
Somebody asking me on the live, so why no convention? You have to ask Dr. Rowley that. You had to ask Dr. Rowley why there was any convention. I can't answer that for you, sir or ma'am. Right? You had to ask he that. Okay, so
what I do know, what I could tell you, right? What I could tell you is that the 34, Stuart Young, Dr. Rowley, Stuart Young's daddy. You see them four gentlemen? Right, I call them the four horsemen of the day.
You call them?
Bible of the Revelation, the four horsemen.
Yeah.
You see Stuart Young, Richard Young, Freddie Ferrer, and Peter Rowley. Yeah, and nothing else to say. I have nothing else to say. Future leadership of the PNM, future leadership of the PNM, as I see it, is Penelope Butters, Amy Brown, me and that.
Hey! Let me come up this live, eh? Before we taping this live, I say, yeah, what Google pushed it for. Say that, look, somebody say, somebody say that the live here, the four horsemen. Somebody laughing, and that four horsemen joking.
44, all like the road. Right? 44, how old are you?
40? Must be about 100. You remember, Dad, you remember, we used to fall on fast statement you used to be making. And I still don't like this statement up to today.
Where's that way?
You used to say the problem in the world today is who?
Is old people.
Stop it! Why don't you stop saying that?
Yeah, because I still the problem with you.
You remember you go along in age, you know?
Yeah, but I will be the problem.
You gonna be the problem?
Yeah. I know going down in age, I going up in age.
You going up in age? Oh, okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, alright.
Yeah. You see 44, Peter Rowley, Stuart Young and Richard Young and the four horsemen.
Four horsemen.
The leadership of the PNM, the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, I'm speaking prophetically now, is Penelope Butters. Alright, and future possible leaders, Nian Gadsby, Amy Brown. Pastor got himself in a little entanglement, and I believe he was targeted. The man did nothing wrong. The man registered his companies. Everything was done above board. I don't like how they drag his name. I don't like how they drag his daughter's name in the papers. Right? I have daughters. Right? And when I had my own controversy with an LCB, my daughter's name was in the paper and all of that. And she had to answer to her supervisors and things. So that must have been a harrowing experience for Pastor Cummins to see his daughter's name being dragged in the papers. But I believe he was targeted because he was a black man who was making some money. Alright, and there's a school of thought that black people are really supposed to make money because we stupid PNMC, PURP people. Right? And because first companies were doing well, some people thought that we'll make a standard of him because they thought he was making money.
Yep.
Foster had some really good plans
for young people, for the youth of Trinidad and Tobago.
Black people could get a house.
Yeah. But you know the misinformation and the hate. What I have a real issue with, and I watching, and I'll keep watching. There is the misinformation and there's the hate that is being pushed out there, and the separation and the division that is being pushed out there by certain individuals to keep people in a certain mindset that Short Young and Penny they hate each other, or they don't talk, they stay away from each other, they don't have anything to do with each other. That is the biggest lie. The biggest lie in the political atmosphere. The biggest lie I have ever seen and heard. Because when I sit in press conferences and watch the both of them, and when they finish, I said, if people see the both of you behaving like this, they will never believe. And then they say, Google, that's why we don't fight up and go to defend and
let me ask you a question. And then I want you to ask me the same question. You hate Kamala?
No.
Mark my question, whether do you hate Kamala Persad-Bissessar?
No.
Ask me the same question now.
Afraid.
Ask me.
Dad, do you hate Kamala Persad-Bissessar?
No. I think Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the only thing I think is that she should have learned more from her 2010, 2015 experience to know not to hire people like Anna Roberts and
Yeah.
We should have learned enough from what Anna Ramlogan and Randine and Volney and some of these people did under your administration to make you look bad, right? And to dirty the waters of your administration. They should have watched that and say, here what? There are certain elements I don't want in this party. Support me, yes, but you ain't getting nothing. I'm not giving you a voice. Right? And she should have stayed far from Philip. And far from Annabelle. But she could then do.
And you know, there are some people, let's do the flip side of it. And let's do the flip.
I don't have hate in my heart to say I hate Indian people.
But you see the video I sent you see the video you listen to the video I sent you with the man the other night?
Yeah.
Oh, you feel he are hating him? You hear how that man describe Miss Beckles? You're laughing. You're laughing. I said that thing for my mother. I said that thing for mom. Here now. My mom nearly flipping. My mom said he talking for all of them. I say, Lord Father.
Yeah. How mom going by the way? She good?
Yeah, she real good. Real good.
Well, I love her with all my heart. Anytime I see she, I love her for 5 minutes straight.
All right.
She try to push me on something.
Yeah.
And she go say, boy, is enough. And then I go hold on till she tighter.
Lovely. That is what it is.
So let me tell you something. Brother, let me give you your flowers. You're doing an excellent job. You've defied all odds. Done well. You have the biggest program. I wish you could get back on our radio. I don't know whether the channel is doing better than the radio or whatever. But coming in closer to 2030 and stuff, trust me, things will think, and you're telling me I should get involved in politics. I may take your advice. We have to have our own meeting.
Yeah.
I may take your advice. Let us, instead of cursing the darkness, let me light a candle.
Yeah.
Stop cursing the darkness and light a candle. Right? And see what I could do for my country before I get too old to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I tell you, I love this Northern Island Republic. I love it to death. right? Because I had so many options to go abroad and listen, son, you know we could have go to the States and rip them to
Yeah, we know that.
TD Jakes would not know where we pass.
Yeah, yeah.
I have senior pastors, you as my junior.
Yeah, yeah.
By the Sunday I preaching, you holding down a 8,000 member congregation, so in Texas or in New York. I choose Trinidad 1.5 million hungry little African and Indian, and some Chinese and some Syrian sprinkle inside it. And I good peace of mind when the night come. Carnival, I give me Trinidad and Tobago. But as always a fella, if I see something and it ain't right, I have to talk about it. You know, I have to talk about it. And I know I see I went up in gears a little bit with that caller there because he was going like holiday foods, he was going off course and you had to pull him back. You know, but I think at the end of the day we still live good here in this country, boy.
Yep.
Yep. Right, African and Indian. I carry my engine head today by a fellow named Rashid in Frederick Settlement, in the back of Caroni, to fix the engine head. Right? On my white van. But we stand up there and we talk like we went to school together. You understand? He might be UNC, I might be PNM, the man might be PNM too. You understand? But you can't make these kind of judgment calls in Trinidad because a lot of African people marry to Indian people. I do know these weddings and plenty African men marrying Indian women and plenty Indian men marrying African women and they're making Douglas children and Syrian marrying. I did Gary Hunt's wedding, you know that?
Yeah.
Right? And Gary Hunt, who is a man of half Indian, half Caucasian, marry a Chinese woman. Boy, don't play with Trinidad, you know. I heard a man say once, he said, Mackenzie, I supporting only black people business. He said, you know, any black hardware? I say, yeah, send him by one. When he went, a black man come out. He said, he called me, he said, Mackenzie, thanks. I like, thanks for sending my boy, first black man with a hardware. The man spent $24,000 by the hardware. When it's time to pay, the man Indian wife come out and take the money. Don't play with Trinidad. Don't play with Trinidad. You understand? We cost one another every 5 years for the election time. There's this and all the African this and all the Indian this and all the UNC this and all the PNM that. When the election done, we buy Cora River. I just go buy Cora River when I up here on a Friday and I feel I want to eat I want to eat some roti. I drive up Cora River and I get free legal advice. Talk about roti and curry duck. I just get free legal advice. I just walk up to them and they're cooking it.
Yeah.
I start to talk to them and think, yeah, we have a nice thing going in this country and think, but Kamla, that move to put Jolene John there, Kamla is our boss. She learned something.
Yep.
That was a boss move she made. I decided to thought she do with Madura and think. But I think she avoided some mistakes and she kind of trying to hold things together. And fellas who was noisy and talking, I find a little quiet. I hear Rudal. I hear Rudal, he kind of get quiet.
We ain't Barry. We ain't Barry.
He was Barry. You know, and Roger, he just be constantly talking nonsense.
Yep.
You know, so.
But do you before you leave that, I want to ask you one final question.
No, you can ask me 10 final.
You think you think that because we know that I know that PNM cannot win an election with just PNM people alone. Right?
Right.
There are hundreds and thousands of persons who will vote for the PNM because of their policies and because of their governance style. Right? Right now, the way how things are looking and the way how people are talking on the ground, I went to CC Winans concert. And when they announced Miss Beckles, you heard how the crowd roar?
Yes.
When they announced Miss Bissessa, what did the crowd do?
Yeah, well, the crowd was not as loud.
They wasn't as loud, they just clap.
Yeah. Why do you think that happened?
You tell me.
Happy and I'm crying. Black people.
All right, Dad. Okay. Today I would have gone into 3 establishments, and people were talking about this oil and gas deal. And I'm listening to the people and listening to what they're saying and how they feel about how this oil and gas deal. And the majority of the people were saying, best way they really leave Stuart Young and Dr. Rowley to finalize this deal.
Because Dr. Rowley and Stuart Young were finalizing the deal without compromising the integrity of the country.
Thank you.
They stood their ground and said, yeah, what? We support the sovereignty and the independence of Venezuela. We do not support the military presence of the United States of America in a place that by CELAC and by CARICOM is a zone of peace.
Yeah.
And we think the military intervention is unnecessary.
Yeah.
And they were still getting through with the deal.
They were still getting through.
So they stood their ground without sacrificing their virginity.
You know what? So you see me? Let me go in my bed, eh? Let me go in my bed. Dad, have a good night, eh? You go in your bed.
Alright, okay.
Alright, you go in your bed. Is the standing wrong, eh?
The standing wrong.
Without compromising and opening the leg.
Yeah.
Alright.
So we're not giving it up.
We're not giving it up. Have a good night, Dad. It was nice having you. Later.
The pipe that they're running from Venezuela.
You see you had to throw that in, eh?
Good night.
Later.
Good night, all in the sport, man. You had a good time.
Yeah, man. Later, Dad. Yeah, bye-bye. Oh, man. So tomorrow, please God, I'm going to be on from 8 o'clock. We're going to be discussing other stuff that's happening in the news. So tomorrow, please God, I'm going to be on from 8 o'clock. And yes, we're going to be talking about the minister who doubled down on himself. We're going to be talking about him and other stuff that's happening in the news. Right? That's 1. 2, again, before I leave, I want to make it abundantly clear that you see the hate, the vitriol, and the nasty comment and the pushing of and trying to push and separate MP Young and opposition leader Ms. Beckles. I want to see it here publicly. The camaraderie, the jokes, the togetherness that I see with the both of them. I don't know why people are constantly trying to put in the public domain that they are not together on the same mindset. I don't know why people keep on doing that. When I go to the press conference, what I see, right? What I see is a togetherness with Ms. Beckles and MP Young. You hear me? That's what I see. I tell you, at that time, I sit down, I dug in my phone because I know get a little internet from the building. Because I ain't working no way, so I know get a little internet from the building. And my head down in my phone, trying to get a little internet, get a little thing, get certain things. And I watching the both of them choking and MP Young choking Miss Beckles and showing she watch Google sleeping. And they both of them laughing at me. When they finish press conference finish, I tell them, they laughing at me. You must sleep and come. Don't come and sleep. The both of them. So this mad talk and this kind of who better and who this and who that. It's not about that between the both of them. Look, somebody saying here, today's press conference was excellent. And the information you, it's a fact. And he would refer to her, she would refer to him. Today he referred to her. And he said, and opposition leader Ms. Beckers would have reminded me of X, Y, and Z. But people don't hear those things. You understand? People don't hear those things. People hear the propaganda and the lies and the misinformation and the hate and the separation that they want. That's what they just hear. But again, you know, I will surprise it tomorrow, you know. I will get the both of them on this program at the same time. Wait, you go see something. And you know what will happen? You all will say, oh gosh, Pastor Google, you understand? Mr. Imbert was excellent. Mr. Young was excellent. Mr. Amy Brown, come on, let's not fool ourselves. And we need to encourage that. We need to push that more than anything else. We need to push that more than anything else. The camaraderie, the togetherness, you could see where the both of them, everybody having the same mind. They having their what you will call it, their meetings. Oh gosh, there's a word that I hear. I hear MP Young and they call it all the time. There's a specific word that is call it. Caucus. That is the word that I hear Minister MP Young say many times when they meet in caucus. And they're all of them on the same page and they be able to this one research that one researches and all of you heard Mr. Manning on my program where people wanted to ask him about foreign affairs. He said, hey, I stayed in my lane. That is for Dr. Amy Brown. We need to encourage that. Why we want to have this separation? So I will surprise Oleno. Yeah, these and the opposition leader love to hear constructive criticism. And I'm going to tell her, I said, hey, son, you have to give her kudos. You're not giving her, well, I can't say you all not, because I just saw it, wrote it in the chat a while ago, right? And I got a message on my phone. A fact. And we need to, and I'm going to send her that message. Excellent press conference. Excellent lineup. I will do that for you guys. Right? And if you all have an issue with something, I'm going to tell her, Madam Opposition Leader, people on the program saying, you understand, X, Y, and Z. Somebody saying, I too, like Pastor Mackenzie, would like to see Dr. Amy Brown have a chance at leadership. Okay, look, people talking about Dr. Amy Brown as leader here. You understand? If opposition leader Penny not be grooming, not be paying a leader to take over her, then waste her time. All right, so again, thank all of you for being on the program this evening. A little jumping off the live already. Well, yeah, easy on this constructive talk, you know. Well, they're not easy at all. All right? Well, they're not easy at all. Please make your contributions to First Citizens Bank, and you have the bank account number there. Please, I'll appreciate it a whole lot if you just chop a little contribution to keep the internet running. You know what I mean? Keep the internet running, keep things going smooth as they should.
Trinidad. It's back for 2 nights only. The explosive hit comedy stage play by Alan Charles. Why Didn't I Get Married? It's not good for a man to be alone. But what about the black woman? Is the church guilty of keeping women single? Or is there really a man shortage? Come laugh, cry, and think at a show that's more than a play. It's a conversation, not for the easily offended. Saturday, 1st November, 7 p.m. at USC Auditorium, Maracas, St. Joseph. Sunday, 9th November, 6 p.m. at Sapa, San Fernando. Tickets for the USC campus, $200 in advance, $225 at the door. Tickets for Sapa, $225 in advance, and $250 at the door. Get them at USC campus, A&A Pharmacy, Port of Spain, Maranatha Bookshop, San Fernando, Living Legacy Pharmacy, Arima, or online at theticketsellers.co.uk. Why Didn't I Get Married? Don't miss the comedy that everyone will be talking about. Brought to you by the University of the Southern Caribbean and Focus Arts Promotions.
Brown Eyes Promotion presents We Outside Tobago Carnival 3, October 24th to 27th, an all-inclusive package, inclusive of breakfast, lunch, and accommodations. Smith Drive, Lowlands, Tobago, opposite Gulf City Mall. Limited spots. Book yours now. Call 713-4029. Accommodation options: 1 bedroom with a kitchenette, 2 beds, up to 4 people, or 2 bedrooms self-contained, 6 people max, queen size, plus single beds. Check-in time 2:30 p.m. Check out 11 a.m. Limited spots available. Prices with breakfast and lunch: $2,000 per person. Breakfast only $1,700 per person. Half payment due by July 31st. Pay off by September 30th. Non-refundable. Payment plans available. For more info and to book your spots, call 713-4029. We Outside Tobago Carnival 3 from October 24th to 27th. All courtesy Brown Eyes Promotion. We do not own the copyrights for the song playing in the background.
You give your hand to me and let me say hello, and I can hardly speak. My heart is beating so, and one can tell. You think you know me well, well you don't know me.
Hey guys, I am Nigel O'Connor, a singer for all seasons. I am that voice that moves you for every occasion. I am that voice that celebrates life moments one note at a time. I am Nigel O'Connor. You can contact me at 783-0054 or 754-3154. And oh yes, that's me singing in the background.
Nowadays I'm not speaking songs.
I recall more than 3 decades ago, a senior telecommunications manager, let's call him Michael. And Michael was assigned to the task of presenting the government's position at a regional conference. Michael struggled and visibly trembled, especially since he presented after the retired North American ambassador, who had the audience in stitches, laughing up every word. I'm Dr. Madonna Dodd, and I made a silent vow then to help people like Michael, who are technically competent, but who struggle and succumb to fear when speaking in public. Now, as a communications architect, I partner with organizations and individual leaders to transform their leadership presence, including the way they express themselves. So, if your goal is to amplify your authentic voice, influence others, and lead with confidence, join me from October 28th to November 11th for our Communicate with Confidence online course. To all the Michaels, it's possible to overcome fear, step fully into your role, and lead with confidence.
Long ago in the jungle, there lived a monkey who was best friends with a deer. This monkey was smart and sharp, but very lazy. Most of the time, he only went around stealing other animals' food. One day, the monkey entered a lion's zone without noticing. The lion caught him and was about to eat him. But the monkey quickly used his cleverness and said, "My king, don't eat me. I can bring you better meat, more than myself." At first, the lion didn't believe him, but after thinking, he agreed. The monkey then went to the deer, his best friend, and said, "The lion wants to make you the king of the jungle. Come with me." The deer followed him without hesitation. But when the lion saw the deer, he attacked him. The deer barely escaped, but lost his ears in the struggle. The deer said to the monkey, "You tricked me. The lion tried to kill me." The monkey replied, "No, don't be foolish. The lion only removed your ears so he can place the crown on your head. Come back with me." The deer believed him and returned again. This time, the lion attacked him, and the deer escaped again but lost his tail. The deer said angrily to monkey, "You lied again. The lion wants to kill me." The monkey smiled and said, "No, he only removed your tail so you can sit comfortably on the throne. Come back with me." The deer trusted him once again, returned with him. But this time, the deer did not escape. The lion finally get him. The lion said to the monkey, "Well done for bringing him back again and again. Now prepare it for me and bring me its lungs, liver, and brain." The monkey brought everything except the brain, keeping it aside for another trick. When the lion asked, "Where is the brain?" the monkey replied, "My king, the deer had no brain. If it had any, it would never have returned to you after losing its ears and its tail." The lion thought and said, "That is very true." Moral from the story: in life, do not trust anyone with sweet words. Not everyone who advises you has good intentions. The deer fell into the trap because he believed his best friend and followed sweet words. He ignored the obvious truth and believed lies again and again, until it cost him his life. In life, those who ignore clear warnings and continue to fall for deception may not get a second chance to escape. Learn to question, think critically, and never return to a trap you were lucky to escape from once. And always remember, when it comes to survival, anybody can betray you. Trust yourself and believe in yourself. Thank you at Cyberspheres.
During our 3 weeks course, I gained a lot of knowledge and insights on how to communicate with confidence using the different techniques and skills taught. Another thing that resonated for me is the fact that the same way singers prepare their voice, increase their lung capacity by eating healthy, doing the necessary breathing exercises, is the same way someone who is going to present should also prepare their voice. For persons who are interested in participating in this course, I say go for it, because you too will be able to find your coping skills, or how the runners and they just psych up themselves when they're on the start line before they start to be focused to finish that race. You would be able to find your coping mechanism.
God is the joy and the strength of my life. He moves all pain, misery, and strife. He promised to keep me and never to leave me. He's never ever come short of his word. I've got to fast and pray, stay in the narrow way, and keep my life clean every day, because I wanna go with him when he comes back. I've come too far and I'll never turn. Ooh, God is, God is, God is, say God is, ooh, God is my all. Everybody sing, God is the joy and the strength of my life. He moves all pain, misery. He
The information provided by the speakers and/or presenter on Facebook and YouTube is for general informational purposes only. All information is provided in good faith. However, Constructive Talk makes no representation or warranty of any kind, express or implied, regarding the accuracy, adequacy, validity, reliability, availability, or completeness of this information.
How to choose a leader? That's the most relevant question today.